Day 2 of the season 3 of the PGF. We were blessed with just a phenomenal night last night. We saw some incredible athletes go and do our 10 events that we created for the combine, and then we had an epic Connect 4 battle that saw Sean Applegate end up with the first pick. Guys, coming into this draft, especially after last night, let's kind of re-explore what happened last night and who impressed you the most. Like, who did the most for their draft position?
You're welcome. I definitely have to say Kiahi. Kiahi came in as a most likely going to be a replacement player. Not going to get any matches this season, but he showed out on a number of events, and a number of the coaches we talked to noted him as somebody they saw do really well. He might have just made a team.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to make a team, right? But it's very important to note that 6 players on each team, that 6th pick for each team will not play unless somebody gets injured or somebody needs a fill-in. So, some of these guys, they're going to be here all week, but they might not get to do a match. Steven, as a guy that competed in season 2, how much nerves would you have, like, going in, like, as a competitor, when we see this final 8? I think the final 8 guys, their hearts are going to be beaten like this, because there's, again, a chance they might not compete.
Yeah, definitely. I've going around the room and talking to a few of those guys. You can definitely feel that tension. That it's like, oh man, I didn't realize that I could actually have came here, did all this, and might not even get to be a part of the regular season as an athlete. So I think that's something that's weighing heavy on a few of those bottom 8 guys for sure. And I don't know that if I agree that Kiahi had enough to like project himself out of that rung of guys either, because there were some other people like Josh Gibbs, I think, also had a really strong performance overall. He's somebody that really impressed me in the combine yesterday with the athletic events overall. He had a really great broad jump. He had a really great shuttle. He crushed the assault bike. He beat everybody by like 7 or 8 RPMs on that. So I think that his stock should have risen. But again, walking around and talking to the coaches and then running some mock drafts of my own, I don't even know it's like I don't even know who those bottom 4 guys are gonna be, because 2 or 3 of those guys should be on a team somewhere. It's pretty tough.
Lindsay, what is the biggest storyline today going into this draft? I mean, there's so many different talking points from Sean Applegate and the Elkins brothers, trying to get their guys to. We've got Drew Weatherhead and Eli Knight, who are kind of wild cards. They don't really, I think they're probably least familiar with the field. I mean, they were kind of struggling yesterday with even just all these guys' names, let alone where they're going to pick these guys.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing is going to be the Elkins brothers are probably going to disrupt what we would normally see as the flow of the competitors' rank that we would normally or that you would generally give. So I think they're going to go with more of a favoritism kind of thing, or guys that they have worked with before, pick their brother, and that's going to take things out of a natural order. So, yeah, I'm very interested to see how their picks are going to go.
Yeah. I think Sean as well. I think Sean's also going to disrupt. We're going to be talking during the draft kind of best available, and I think we're going to again see Sean and Matt Elkins and Jake Elkins. They're going to elect again to kind of go away from, like you said, that traditional flow of, man, you got to take the best available just because they've got guys they feel like they have to get. Mm-hmm. And how is that going to affect their teams? Is that going to give one of either Eli and Drew a huge advantage because there's going to be maybe a black belt in the 3rd or even 4th round just because, they didn't get picked by 2 of the teams aren't looking.
Yeah, we have so many black belts this time, so I hope they don't feel offended.
Yeah, there's definitely looking at that list and the way that the snake draft is going to work with Sean winning the Connect 4, he's going to get the number 1 pick, which is obviously going to be Elijah. But then as it snakes all the way back down, he's going to end up with 8 and 9, and he's going to go with Kevin Cheryl and Kevin Buring right there. So I feel like that's going to be 1, 2, and 3 for him, which is probably not how it would fall if those weren't his guys. But is it going to give an advantage to the other teams? I don't know, because with his guys on his team, they're going to be so much stronger than they would be if another coach picked them up. So they'll be able to hang with those black belts a little bit better with Sean as their coach, I think, in the game than if they ended up with, say, Eli or Drew as their coach.
So, Egghead, in your mind, who are you looking at as first round picks? I mean, the first round pick, you're getting paid $750 for the week guaranteed. You could literally lose every single match. You could get injured your first match. Does not matter. You were getting paid $750. And then there's tons of other ways to make money. Obviously, how you finish the regular season as well as if you go and win the tournament. But anyways, first pick is a huge deal because, again, you're getting paid the most. Who are you looking at as the top 4 guys or who's on the cusp, like that 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th guy, because I think we're all in agreement. Elijah Carlton's going to go 1 overall to Applegate. And you have to imagine Caleb McAllister being the runner-up in season 1, as well as, he had a phenomenal performing dude. He took his shirt off yesterday. Him and David Evers were the 2 guys I think everybody looked at and were like, man, those guys are studs. So I think he's probably firmly placed. But who are those other 2 guys that you think are going to be should be first-round picks?
Objectively, you have to go with Gio Ortiz and Dane Leake. Both of them showed out amazingly at the ADCC East Coast trials with multiple submissions. We saw Gio Ortiz go the whole time with a Rotolo brother. We saw Dane Leake get 3 different submissions before losing in points in the round of 32. Both well-seasoned black belts. I think a point that Stephen had made, that Dane said that since a black belt, he has not lost to anyone except for Keith Ricorian in that high rollers in overtime. But here's the thing. We know that people are going to make some homer picks. And so Dane Leake and Gio Ortiz might just fall to that first pick in the 2nd round, which would cost them money, but would be a real catch for Eli Knight to get one of those guys as his first pick of the 2nd round.
Yeah, Lindsay, looking at this draft board, in your mind, who are your first round picks? Like, obviously, again, Elijah's number 1, but who's filling out the rest of your board?
If I just got to choose the top 4 just right off my head. So, yes, I would definitely Elijah first. I would go with Caleb second, and then I would go with Gio and then Dane.
But here's the biggest question, and I really want to hear from Steven on this one. Steven, I think the biggest storyline today is, again, who are those 4 last guys? Like, who are the guys that you feel like are in danger of being the replacement pick? Because that's the one thing I think none of these athletes want to be. But who are the guys in danger? So give me, 5, 6, 7 names that you think could possibly find themselves there.
Last night when I was roaming around a little bit during the combine, I was like listening to the coaches having conversations with their friends and then asking a couple of things of myself and looking around. And 4 names came up a lot, and that was Lewis, Josh Gibbs, Randy, very surprisingly, and Kiahi. And then after that, Boyles, maybe Matt, so a black belt, was on the bubble from a few of the coaches, the Scarecrow of Doom. I didn't really hear his name coming up very highly from any of the coaches, and perhaps Carlos. But I think that he's going to make it from the Elkins team. They're going to pick him up as the 5th round pick because they really like his aggressiveness and his hardcore style.
Well, and that's going to help some of these guys because, maybe a guy like Carlos, he's probably the most unknown guy. He's a purple belt MMA fighter, Alabama state champion wrestler. I've rolled with Carlos. He's very high pace. He's got great movement, but most of these guys don't really know him, and he's small. He's the smallest guy here, but like you said, he's got the homies, and so he's probably going to get picked up, and he might even get picked up in a spot before a black belt like Matt Harrison, just because Matt Harrison doesn't have an in with the coach, So that's going to play a really important part. It's kind of like in the tough, right? When Conor McGregor, his first pick was Artem.
Yeah, picked his buddy
and
first,
it's like, and I guess Artem had a pretty good season, but it's still, was Artem the first pick? Like, no, I don't think Artem was the first pick in that season. And so, it's going to play a big role. Who are you looking at as kind of those 4 guys? If you had to make a prediction, who are the 4 guys that are going to be the replacement players?
So it's really tough because the 4 people I had initially in my analysis was, last person in was Kiahi, but I just said he just showed out so well. He might have displaced someone, but who's he displaced? That becomes a really hard question. We had Josh Gibbs, as Steven said, showed a great athleticism, and so the question is, does he get kind of a hangover from season 2 where he was undersized, and does that stay with him, that kind of stigma, and does that keep him from getting picked, or do they see that he's such a better athlete at this size that he gets in? I had Isaac Stackhouse again, love the man,
Hey.
but I'm just saying that and he was injured. He was fighting through a lot of injuries, and that showed his heart. But again, that also led to some losses he probably wouldn't have had otherwise. Losses that were televised, that were seen by people. And does that stick with him, or do people see through it now that he's healthy? And then Marcus Elkins, which objectively, I had him as like the first one out, but we all know. The Elkins brothers aren't going to be able to go home to mama unless they pick him.
Let him fall all the way to 6.
They got to pick him on their competitive team.
But I think that either Eli or Drew would pick up Marcus before he fell that far, because they both mentioned him last night to me in conversation as well. I don't think they would let him go all the way out.
Yeah, I think Marcus has zero chance. I think Marcus, surprisingly, to some people, could even possibly get picked up in the 4th round.
Yeah, I think so too.
Again, I don't think Sean is looking at him at all, but I think the 3 other coaches are. And to me, that's what's interesting is if we could just hear the coaches, because there might be a guy that a coaches, 2 of the coaches are really interested in, but maybe, Applegate and Drew Weatherhead aren't interested at all. And so it's going to be interesting to see how each coach kind of plays this draft field, because, man, who knows what's going to happen? I mean, outside of, again, the top kind of 2 rounds, I mean, I really think a guy like Matt Harrison, Matt Harrison has a great game for this format. He's got some of the best chokes. I mean, his triangle choke's one of the best chokes of any of these guys, right? We saw him use it in the first season, and he had a good first season. Made the playoffs, and again, people are talking about him falling to the 5th or 6th pick. I mean, that's insanity,
dude.
That's crazy.
It's been from what I've heard from everyone, because that's what the word is, that it is just that kind of one trick with the triangle, and maybe he's been figured out by a lot of these guys, and so they don't really feel that he's going to be as high of a value as maybe he should be. Based on the other names that they have on the board, with picking your homies and picking the people that are already on your team, and with Sean last night, I thought it was very interesting when he was talking about the guys that he picked, maybe the ones who thought would be more coachable, or people that he thought he could tune in with a little bit more. I think Manning Leverett at 4 going with Sean Applegate's team is going to be a really valuable pick this season, and he's going to be on that team who's going to surprise people with those guys all together.
Oh, yeah. I think Manning Leverett has the potential to be one of the stars of this season. He's a quiet guy, but very, very good. Had a phenomenal performance at the ADCC trials. And if I'm a coach, I'm looking at the guys that have that competition experience nationally, who's competed at things like, obviously we've got high rollers, with Elijah has competed at Submission Underground, but, Dane Leake, he also competed at at high rollers, where he fought Keith Krikorian. Like, who are these guys, like GOTs? He fought Cade Rutolo. Again, Manning, he won a match at the ADCC trials. And that's what I'm looking for if I'm on the cusp of anybody, is just who's got that national experience.
Definitely.
All right, we had a question. Can we confirm the snake draft? And you see that the commish put a comment in there that snake draft will start in 15 minutes. So it is going to be a snake draft.
Yeah, and so typically in sports, you take the NFL, they're going to have 32 picks, right? And the first pick is going to be the worst team, and then that same team would get the first pick of the second round. Well, that's done to give them a competitive advantage because their team sucks, right? So, like, the Detroit Lions are always there, right? Just because they're pretty much terrible every single year, but they get that placement, in each round because they're trying to rebuild. They're trying to give them advantage over a team that's notoriously good, like the Kansas City Chiefs that have been good for the past 5 years. So when we got something like this, it's got to be a snake draft. It's not fair to give somebody the first pick of each round. And how does the snake draft, guys, affect this draft? Because going in, the commish said, I think everybody's kind of like, oh, wait, it's going to be just, Sean's going to get the first pick of each round. But how is the snake draft now going to affect?
To be honest, with Sean winning first place in the thing, I don't know that it would have affected it too much at the top because I think that he was going to pick his 3, 1, 2, and 3 either way, and they would have been there for him in the first, second, and third round. He would have picked Elijah, Kevin, and Kevin, even had it been not the snake draft. And then that would have affected probably the bottom half a little bit more. But I still think that most of the people would have still chosen, the same first or second guys that we kind of have down, even though the order could have maybe mixed up a little bit. So
Kevin and Randy.
Yeah, so the commissioner just said that Kevin and Randy Rhoden both just weighed in. They're close to 190. So that's how much weight they cut. How does that affect, like, if you're a coach? You were just talking about Randy possibly not getting picked, a replacement pick. But when you hear that, and again, you see Dane Leake's a great grappler, but again, he looks like he's 160, 162. Yeah. And if Randy and Kevin are going to have 30 pounds on him.
So as someone that's had my hands on Randy and given literally all that I had to try to finish him, man, these guys are going to be in for a ride to control him and get him down. But this is the thing. Is he going to be able to submit them, though? I know that he's going to be able to take everyone on his back. Nobody's going to be able just to walk over Randy, but is he going to be able to get in there and get 6s and 3s consistently? Out there at the top.
Yeah, but as we talked with Eli Knight, he actually brought up the point that we've talked about before on different podcasts. He could be your defensive guy. He's a guy that's hard to get out.
Yeah, but
at least.
I was going to say, where do your defensive guys go? Well, they're
who are they?
Yeah.
You got Boyles, you got Noah,
you
got Matt, maybe Carlos, maybe Isaac. Those guys are all like value, like really hardcore tough guy picks that could fall in those rungs.
But here's the other thing. We just saw him walk by. He looks like regular Randy now. When he came in here the other day, he looked rough from this weight cut. But I think if he keeps walking by that coach's table and they keep saying like,
he's back.
This guy's filled out again, he might be picked better.
I'm looking at, just because of the weight thing, it's like Kevin is going to be 190 going against some of these dudes that are 160. 30 pounds, and he's been in 2 PGF seasons, right? He did the last one coming off of a horrible bout with COVID. I swear to God, the dude did not train for a month leading up. Like, he did not train for a month leading up, and he had some big wins. He beat Kamoy in there. He beat some really, really good dudes. Kamoy is getting ready to be on who's number 1. So I think Kevin's a guy that's really being slept on. And especially if you can catch Kevin in the 3rd round, if you can get him as a 3rd round pick, that's the steal of the draft.
I don't think he's being slept on at all. I think Kevin's going to go 2.
You think he's going to go 2?
The Elkins are going to pick him 7.
I don't know, man. I've talking to the Elkins. They're talking about getting a 2nd black belt if they can. Because they're thinking, I think that there's a chance they could possibly get like a Gio Ortiz or like a Dane Leake.
They won't make it. That's going to be.
No way.
They're going to both go to Eli in that 4 and 5.
You think so?
I think so. If he's smart, that's what I would do. I would pick Dane and Gio 4 5 if
he's
I
smart.
was him. Yeah. So
we've been able to see Kevin's training up close. Being at Decatur, and he's been in the gym.
By
every
accounts,
training session.
He's been crushing it, and everyone should be afraid of Kevin coming out of the season. And with the weight now, like that's a big jump in one day. By the end of the week, I wonder, is it going to be much more than that even? Because this is just one day of, now eating and getting hydrated. Will he be up to 200 by the end of the week, maybe? Is he that big? I don't know. You guys know him a little bit better than I do.
Kevin started the weight cut at 197.
So that's right. Yeah.
So
he'll be 200.
Yeah, he'll be 195 for sure. So I imagine
by the end of the week, that's going to be a big difference, right? That's going to add up.
Fully hydrated for
and
the finale.
especially and we're not also like, guys, we got to remember that the scheduling is going to play the biggest part of this, and so we haven't seen a schedule. So who knows who these guys are going to face, and yeah, maybe Kevin ends up. I really want to see like Kevin versus Dane Leake, just because I think the size difference would be fascinating. Because we've already seen Gio versus Kevin. That happened in a qualifier, and again, Gio's bigger. He's about 175, 180. Elijah Carlton 175, 180. A lot of these guys are, then again, nowhere near as big as Randy or Kevin. They're by far the 2 biggest, but yeah, I'm very interested.
Wow. I can't believe they're both coming in that heavy. And honestly, I would have had Randy coming in higher personally on all the boards if I were choosing. But again, with the conversations I had, I really just didn't hear anyone mentioning his name.
Yeah, well, we just don't know. I mean, he's had what, Egghead, you said like 8 months more of training since our last, the last PGF.
Mm-hmm.
But has that been focused on chokes?
Man, I've been watching Randy a lot. I think he has. I think he's got it. I think he's got it.
He's been improving. He came to our school one time and dropped in, and I saw him working some different stuff out. He was getting into some different leg entanglements with people and going pretty deep into the game with that. What that means in this room, I'm not sure, but he was definitely showing things that I didn't see from him when we were here last season.
Nice.
Always got to remember that, like, before season 2, he was just a 1 year in jiu-jitsu baby blue belt, and then he got all that experience from that week. And I remember some of the competitors saying, like, man, thank goodness I got him early on in that week.
Yeah.
And all the competitors saying, don't teach him anything, please.
He was physically the toughest match of the whole season for me. Like, there were people that beat me, but no one physically pushed me to the brink harder than Randy did, because I was throwing my very best stuff at him, and it was getting right to the edge, and he was just like, take it away, take it away, take it away. So I wonder, with that size difference, can these guys handle that amount of like pressure from Randy that I was able to kind of take with, my bigger body type and being able to take the pounding, like his hips are something serious if you've never been in there with him. So I want to see him be in the top 5 on somebody's team, because it's going to make the season way better if he's in there. But wow, I don't know. Like, just looking at the list though, I don't know, man. It's been hard. I ran 4 or 5 drafts last night in my bedroom when I was going. I don't know. I'm really confused. But
this is the one you decided to go with, right?
Well, last night, and then I came in and talked to Jake, and then he told me a couple of things that they changed. So then my top 2 or 3 rounds are kind of the same. But I think that last night they were feeling more emotional about Marcus, and they wanted to have him higher up. But now I think they're thinking more clearly about where they can value pick him at, where he'll still be. And so then I had to slide some people up into that spot and move him back down to a where they think they can catch him at a 5. So I think that's interesting as a strategy overall, because if he wasn't their brother, that would be the probably proper place to put him. All right.
Okay, guys, we're getting ready to start this draft right here. I think going into this, Kiahi was, I think most people thought Kiahi, just looking at the people that were in this, he was going to be the last pick. Will Kiahi be the last pick?
No, I think there's a very good chance. Lewis Collins, who I had in one of the last rounds, I think he might be the one displaced. I didn't see a lot from him athletically at the combine. I mean, during the shuttle drill, there was that issue where he was like almost on skates. He looked a little herky-jerky in there. And I think with the judges that don't know his body of work, that could have hurt him. Whereas Kiahi, seeing the athleticism, those newer judges, that might have taken his place. But I'll say this before we go over there. Randy Rhoden could easily be the best pick of the draft for somebody as a value pick if he falls.
I would have to say between Lewis and Kiai, just knowing what I know about their jiu-jitsu, just knowing that Lewis has more experience, they're both super tough defensively. I, as a coach, would probably pick Lewis just because he has definitely more experience. But you are right. Those guys don't know specifics about them. So there is a possibility that Kiai is picked before Lewis.
So Ruben asking, how much is the draft do you think is emotional attachment to people you're familiar with for skill set alone? And for 2 of these coaches, that's going to play the biggest factor, because the Elkins brothers, as well as Sean Applegate, they are coming to get their guys. I mean, we've all talked to both of them. And Sean Applegate, there's just no way he doesn't take his 3 guys. And then there's no way that, again, like Marcus Elkins, if the Elkins brothers weren't there, there's a chance he becomes a replacement guy. Like, he'd be on that fringe. But I mean, the Elkins have talked about possibly picking him 3rd or 4th round.
That would be a very poor decision. I mean, it's good for the family, but not for your chance of getting that $500 of Bitcoin.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm very interested. We're going to do NFL style here. So teams are going to have 5 minutes to make picks. And obviously in the first round, the guys are going to kind of have a really good understanding of, everybody kind of knows who they want, who they're going to get. But yeah, we're about to find out what's going to happen. And just remember, guys, again, the scheduling, it's been created, but we don't know who's facing who. So as these athletes get picked, we'll get to see the matchups. And that's what I'm most excited for, because everybody is not going to face everybody. So there is a chance that even if Elijah and Caleb aren't on the same team, which I don't think they will be, but there's still a chance they don't face each other.
That'd be rough. I mean, it was like the anticipation we had for season 1. We had to wait till the finale in the postseason.
Builds anticipation.
Yeah, and there's a lot of guys here that are really just here to beat Elijah Carlton. They want that win back.
I mean, I think Caleb said as much in his preview. That's one of the things that drove him to be here. But I think we also know that Gio Ortiz has that loss. He wants to get that back. I'm pretty sure Elbow Genie would love to take him down as well. Anyone that's faced him or been around him probably wants to get a win over him.
Yeah. Again, I think the people, if they play it right, you're using the PGF as exposure, and Elijah is on that national scene. He's a high rollers champion. He's been on Submission Underground. I think he's undefeated on Submission Underground. I mean, the dude's killing it. And so, yeah, a win against the bad guy. I mean, look, I'm not betting against it. You guys know Elijah Carlton's my pick to win this season. I've watched everybody. I think he's on a tier of his own. So when I'm looking at the draft picks or the fantasy, I've got Elijah 1A, or I shouldn't say 1A. He's number 1. Then there's a group of guys in that second tier that, I mean, I don't know, like Caleb versus Gio. I don't know how that match goes down.
Well, I saw some footage from 2018 where, again, 3 years ago,
That's a long time
but
ago,
it was a
right?
pretty quick heel hook by Caleb. And so you got to think with a quick finish like that, Ortiz is really interested in running that one back. I mean, I think we all know that a lot of people are really excited about a possible third match between Caleb and Jonathan Roberts, the Elbow Genie.
That's one of the matches I think everybody's most excited for. Lindsay, if you could create one match to make sure it happens, what's that match? Like, what's the one match you want to see this season?
It probably would be Jonathan Roberts and Caleb. Just not knowing, everything about. Well, it was at the end of the season when they went. I was just so shocked. I mean, I had so much confidence in Caleb, and to me, Jonathan just slipped that submission right in there, and I was just so surprised. Not to take anything away from Jonathan Roberts, but I would definitely like to see Caleb run that back and see if the same result happens.
Yeah, I personally, there's one guy, David Evers. I want to see him go against Sean Applegate's guys. I'm hoping like we get to see him like a leg lock battle between like Kevin Buring and David Evers. Like that's the match like that excites me the most, just because I want to see, man, because David Evers is uniquely built. He's got short limbs, he's got small feet, he's got those jacked legs. I mean, if you watched last night, there was 2 athletes that stood out. If you saw the combine, you know that. I mean, if we're talking about horses and athletics and just like who physically impressed you the most, I mean, David Evers and Caleb McAllister, and it's not even close.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So here's another thing people are discounting, that David Evers came in second at the Decatur qualifier, but that was the one qualifier where a submission was not required. That was a decision. Gio Ortiz first had to spend a couple minutes fighting off leg lock attacks, just constant leg lock attacks. And then later on, he got the positional advantage. And so he got the win, but he did not submit him.
Yeah, no, David Evers is very positionally very good. And I think people are going to be shocked. Like he is very tough. Again, I've rolled with the guy multiple times. And when he passes guard, I mean, it's very difficult to find an opening. Very, very difficult to find an opening. But, Mr. Strong, bro, he's saying all it takes is one mistake, though, talking about Elijah. But that's the thing. Elijah's done it before. It's not like we're just talking about like he's went 24-0. He went and he was the smallest guy last season. Him and Josh Gibbs were by far the 2 smallest guys. And he almost went undefeated last season. He just lost to Hunter Colvin, and Hunter only had 1 move against him. I mean, it was the rolling Kimura, and he finished both times with the rolling Kimura.
All right, so we are going to send it over to the draft cameras.
So draft cameras getting ready to start. I mean, first pick's got to be Elijah Carlton.
Oh, you know it.
It's got
All right. We're about to get the draft started. Season 3 of the PGF. Round 1 starts now. Team toe hold. Sean Applegate is on the clock.
So Sean's on the clock. Again, there's just no way he doesn't take Elijah Carlton. And I mean, starting off with the face of the PGF, I mean, that's the pick that it's the no-brainer pick. Because I'm telling you, at number 2, there's so many guys. You could make an argument for 5 guys, in my opinion.
Yes. I mean, as I said in the pre-draft show, the consensus number 1 pick. You have to go with Elijah. As we say on the PGF Insiders,
The
until
first
someone
pick
beats him, you
in
have
the
to
draft,
pick him.
Elijah Carlton.
Yeah, and it's Elijah. Lindsay, now, who are you taking at number 2? I
All right,
think
Elijah, this is your
Drew
third PGF.
is a
How do you feel in here at 170
let
today?
him talk.
Fucking fantastic.
Fantastic. This man says, how many of these guys are you going to see? Sadly, he's going to submit every one of these guys. All right. Now, pick 2 is on the clock. It's going to be Drew for Supernatural Survivor Gear. Who do you think he's going to pick? Who would you pick?
If he's smart, he'd steal Sean's dudes, but probably not. Probably Caleb or Gio.
Caleb or Gio? Smart pick. All right. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
And we
All
hear,
right. So now we're waiting on the pick to
yeah.
come down from Drew Weatherhead and Supernatural Survivor Gear. We're going to kick it back over to the desk.
see.
All right. So Elijah says that he should steal Sean's guys.
That's an emotional thing. There's just no way you take Kevin Buring at the number 2 spot. I mean, the dude, while he's incredibly talented, one of the athletes I'm looking forward to seeing the most. I mean, he's not finishing number 2 this season.
So
No.
you wouldn't do just a spite pick just to like disrupt Sean's strategy
Well,
there.
here's the thing: Drew Weatherhead is a complete mystery. I have no idea how this dude's going to pick. I mean, he was talking about how he wants to have a team that's, he wants an exciting team, but he wants guys that are going to go out there and throw crazy submissions.
Yeah. So you don't think he was just kidding around about that?
No, I don't. I think he's here for the entertainment.
Okay.
He said he's here for the memes. I mean, the dude is a jokester. The dude, while he's an incredible black belt, he's also, he understands the importance of entertainment. And I think there's a chance. I mean, he's looking for the most entertaining guys.
Yeah, but that's like 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds. I mean, he's going to balance. He's also a smart guy.
It's got to be Caleb McAllister, right?
I mean, I have to pick him there, but who knows? I mean, he might go for one of the ADCC guys. Again, we just saw. I mean, I guess Caleb was there too. He lost in his first match against a very powerful UFC grappler, and the other two kind of showed out a little bit more. So maybe that makes him think about them more.
I'm personally
team such as
taking Gio 2, and then 3. I'm taking Caleb.
All right. I switch from there. I would go Caleb first, then Gio.
And see, I went Caleb and then Dane.
Okay.
But it goes to your point. You can make a very reasonable argument for any of those guys
Exactly.
in the first
Yes.
3 or 4.
Yes. Outside of Elijah again. Elijah, easy pick. After that, man, I mean,
Of those three, they're all pretty much somewhat interchangeable. So that's like the next tier, and then it starts getting really interesting how you go after that.
Yeah.
But if I could, I have a matchup I'd really like to see. It's kind of the lower ranked guys.
Yeah.
Kiahi has a little bit of beef with Matthew Boyles. He doesn't
He
even
did
have
call him out.
He doesn't even have a reason. He just says like I
That
saw
unicycle just made him mad.
exactly. But here's they both have something to prove, so it could be a very exciting match.
I mean, that's why that's a match that is entertaining. It's a match that, while it has 0 implications on the season, right? 0.
To be fair, yes.
To be fair, 0. But yeah, I hear you, Ruben. I think Gio is the number 2 guy here, and I think Gio's going to have I think Gio's finishing number 2 this season. I feel pretty confident that it's going to be Elijah Gio. Like that's what I would, in my mind, that's what's going down.
Right. And I mean, that's not a terrible pick. I'm picking Caleb second for the PGF experience. Like he's been through, all of it. In that case where he competed, it was different weeks. So it wasn't all at once, like a gauntlet like this. But I mean, he's good with the format. So yeah, he's got PGF experience. That's the only reason why I picked him.
Yeah, but he had his own gauntlet because he was driving 8.5, 9 hours every week to get down here. I just did that drive. It's rough.
Not fun.
So, I mean, a man that can do that and still show out like he did. I mean, I guess my question for you, Matt, is, why Gio over Caleb, with Caleb having a win over Gio previously? I know it's a while back, but what's changed?
So I just look at recent performance, and now in Caleb's defense, Caleb is one of those guys competing nationally. He's fought PJ Barch. He's fought Joe Selecki. He's fighting again the top guys, but I just haven't seen dominant performance because Caleb has stepped up. He's trying to find himself in that top 25 of 170-pound grapplers, and so I just haven't seen him have dominant performances recently. Where I have seen that from Gio. Gio has been going out there and getting kills on the competition scene, and I think that matters. And so I'm not quite sure where Caleb is in comparison from season 1 to today. I don't know how much he's improved just because he's been facing some of the top 20 grapplers in the world over the past year. Where again, Gio, I mean, I've seen him face the number 1 grappler at this weight, Cade Ruotolo.
All right, and let's go. Let's go back to the table for pick number 2 and womp womp womp.
Okay, we're back with the second pick in the first round. Supernatural survival gear and Drew Weatherhead take King Leonidas, Caleb McAllister.
All right. King Leonidas. I just watched that movie the other day.
Yeah, I think we all.
You had a really strong showing yesterday.
We
at the
all said
combine.
Caleb was
You
going
have some
to.
experience in the PGF from season 1. How do you think that experience from season 1 is going to carry over into this season?
I think it's definitely going to make a big deal. I'm really excited to compete with all these guys. I actually want to take the opportunity. I'm going to call this not a challenge, but an invitation. Why are we here? Well, there's a lot of different reasons. One of them is to put on a show, to be exciting. So with that in mind, and our beloved commissioner does not know that I'm going to do this, so I'm probably going to give him a heart attack here. I would like to extend the invitation that any of you gentlemen at any point between now and the moment that the ref says go in our matches, if you would like to compete under CJJ rules, I will accept at the drop of a hat. I realize I may be shooting myself in the foot by doing this because this is going to be a hard week to get through without injuries as it is, but it'll give the audience something to look at. And if any of you are interested, let's give them something to watch.
Wow. I don't know if we're going to be able to pull off the CJJ in here, but I think that sets throws the gauntlet down for the rest of these guys going in here. If you had to pick your team, who would you want to be the next pick on your team, do you think?
There's a lot of killers here. If I had to pick, because I have shared the mat with him and I know how tough he is, I'm going to say Gio. He's an absolute killer.
Okay. Gio Ortiz, if you had to pick one match that you're really looking forward to most this season, which match is that?
Well, it's hard to narrow it down to one because I got a lot that I'm really excited about. Elijah and I, man, we need a tiebreaker. But there's a couple other guys here that I need a tiebreaker with as well. John Roberts, I hear a couple of people enjoyed our matches. I'm hearing that I think they're going to ban Darces this year, so that may change things a little bit. But yeah, definitely looking forward to that. I had an awesome match with Kevin Primo. I really want to run that one back as well. Man, there's so many others that I could name.
We are very excited to have you in here, and congratulations on being a first round pick.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Ooh,
We're back on the clock with team such and such.
I got to say this. All right. If this was CJJ, he's the favorite. I don't say I didn't coach him, but I was kind of yelling. We were at an event and he fought a very tough guy from Florida in a CJJ event in Tennessee. And he looked phenomenal. He has a lot of MMA experience. If this was a CJJ format, I actually would have him as the favorite over Elijah.
Right. I was like, it is not a good idea for anybody to take Caleb up on that offer. He has a lot of, I've seen him several times in CJJ competitions. So he has reps under his belt.
I'm just shocked that he has not found his way onto the CJJ world scene. He is more than capable of going out there and performing at a very high level at CJJ Worlds. I think he could win a couple of matches there. But yeah, if we're talking CJJ here, I mean, give me Caleb McAllister. The dude, like you said, he is I loved it. Leonidas, and I love the challenge right there. That's I hope we get one or two guys take him up on that.
Cardio King. I mean, looking over the group right now, I think the only one to be crazy enough to do it would be the Liquid Terminator, Kevin Primo.
Oh, I think Matthew Boyles would in a heartbeat. I just think Matthew Boyles has got that craziness in him. He's just like, let's go. Matthew Boyles is going to show up. He's going to ride that unicycle to the mat, and he's ready to throw slaps.
I mean, yes. To be fair, I think Wallow was pointing out when handsome Kevin Cheryl did that sweep on him, and we were thinking, oh God, he's out of it. And he just springs right back up. I mean, he's the kind of guy that, especially if he doesn't make the top 5 on a team, he might do it just to get some action. This could be fun.
That's true.
But I really feel bad for the guy. I really would, because that hopefully be over quick.
Well, it would be cool to have a CJJ PGF, and I think there's definitely a real possibility that happens, and possibly the winner getting a spot in CJJ. I'm just throwing that out there. CJJ Worlds.
Thank you to Brad Anselman for that $50 donation to this super chat. And just let me let you guys know that any point during the week, you are able to donate to your favorite player. So you just give through the super chat and let us know who that money needs to go to, and we will donate our portion. So YouTube does take a certain portion of that, but our portion that we actually get will go directly to that player. So just let us know through the super chat.
Yeah, so if you're like, man, Caleb McAllister is like my guy, and that call out was, I mean, that's the most gangster thing I've ever heard, man. Give the dude $20. Give the dude $10. Anything's going to help these guys, especially throughout the week. But we're ready for the third pick.
All right, we're ready.
It's Jonathan Roberts.
The third pick in the draft, going to team such and such, the Elbow Genie, Jonathan Roberts.
You called it.
Congratulations. All right. This man, PGF veteran, has a rule that was created after him. How do you feel coming into your second season of the PGF?
I feel really good. This is the best my body's felt in a really long time, and I'm gonna show you all the best Jonathan that there's ever been. I mean, this is the best my jiu-jitsu's ever felt, and the best my body's ever felt, as a black belt. So if I do lose, it's because these guys did a really good match, not because I wasn't prepared.
Strategy-wise, are you going to go in with the same thing that you did last season, or are you going to try to show us something new?
Definitely going to show you something new. My game is completely different than the first season, so I'm excited to show y'all new Jonathan Roberts.
Nice. How excited are you to be on team such and such?
Absolutely excited. I love such and such, and I love those coaches.
All right.
Roll Tide.
Oh, not today, though.
Roll Tide.
Right? Not today.
Roll Tide.
Fair.
Not today.
Not today.
Thank you.
We got
All
our
right.
first
Now,
donation.
Team Primo's Heroes is on the clock.
All right. So womp, 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 super chat.
To the Elbow
DJ
Genie.
Webb to the Elbow Genie. Nice.
Already making money.
So the Elbow Genie, the first athlete to be tipped.
All right. So
This
describe.
season. So, guys, is just coming in the way that the schedule is working. We got Jonathan versus Elijah tonight.
That's pretty fire.
Yeah, so we already tonight we've already got a banger, man. We've got 2 first-round guys going at it. We've seen this match twice now, or maybe it was just one. No. We've seen this match one time in season 1. We saw Elijah get the choke. What are you guys expecting in that match?
It was off his patented triangle setup.
Yes.
I believe that he got basically all the top guys with. I mean, I don't think he's going to fall for it again. I think the issue is having the 2 top guys against each other the first night is, 1, amazing for competition and just watching, great grappling. But 2, it also diminishes their fantasy values just a bit, because you have to anticipate either one of those guys would be very happy to settle for a break versus a kill against each other.
Yeah. So, do you guys want to describe what was the rule that was created for Jonathan Roberts?
Yeah, so Jonathan, in the first season, he was joint locking everybody, and he was doing it in a very fast manner. He had a bunch of 1 minute, like under 1 minute. So the rule that we created was we took a point away from the choke, right? So it was 7-3 in the first season. In the second season, it became 6-3. But if you finished in the first minute, you got a bonus point. So you could get 4 points for the joint lock or 7 points for the choke. And that is the Jonathan Roberts rule.
So, how does Jonathan Roberts going earlier in the draft going to affect the other teams or the rest of the draft? So, that again, we were talking about like the natural order of things and just how the competitors would normally be ranked. So now Gio Ortiz not going third. How's that gonna work out?
We got a $50 tip to Caleb McAllister.
Womp 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 super chat.
Wallow J. PGF
Getting some
Insider,
tips in
McJo-
for these
McJojo
guys.
Show.
Hey, Nakai, hey, let Caleb know he just got tipped $50. Let Caleb know he just got tipped $50.
So, I mean, here's the thing. Right now, we have Eli on the board, and we have 2 of the top 4 guys, 2 killers, 2 guys with multiple submissions at the ADCC trials. They're both going to probably fall to him. And so it's going to be killer for his team. But here's the other thing. Both those guys, now they got to think in the next 5 minutes, who just lost out on $250?
Yeah. Well, and look, I hate to say this because, again, I think Jonathan is one of the best black belts in Alabama. I just am not sold on him changing his game up. His arm bars are in. Why would he change his game up? He has some of the best finishes in competition arm bars I've ever seen. I just do not buy that he's going to change his game completely. I mean, I would be shocked.
Alan Michael, matches start at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time tonight. We'll have a pre-show starting at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time as well.
Oh, dang, the elbow genie getting paid 20 more bucks. I mean, in PGF history, Jonathan Roberts has easily the best match, right? Him and Caleb, best match in PGF history. Mm-hmm. And then, he's probably got 3 others in there.
Him versus Nilo. Again, from going on Neon Belly to the heel hook, that was one of the slickest moves I've ever seen. I want to learn it.
Right.
And womp 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 super chat from Jacob Gober.
Well, he also took out Ridge Blackburn. Remember the armbar he hit Ridge with in under a minute? Ridge is a black belt out of he'd been there in Hawaii and it just moved to Mississippi.
The pick is in.
Who's it going to be, guys? It's got to be Gio.
I'd go Dane, but
it might be Kevin Primo.
But you're going to get both. Oh, there's no way.
It's his team. He sponsored the team. It's got to be Gio, right?
Yeah.
If he felt obligated to take Kevin first, that would really mess up his draft.
And with the 4th pick, the final guy going in the first round to Primo's Heroes, Gio Ortiz.
All right, guys, we just successfully called the first round, but I think from here it's going to be very, very difficult.
Congratulations,
Gio.
You've been one of the favorites since we saw your performance in the qualifiers and stuff. What do you think that you're going to bring to this season that's going to make it a little bit more exciting or better than we've had in previous seasons?
I'm not going to be running away at all. I'm going to just trying to stay in the pocket the entire time. I always try to look for the finish too. Just stay in the pocket and, just look for the finish. So I think that makes it for very exciting matches. So
right on. Well, we have some guys in here that are a little bit bigger than some of you guys that cut weight. Did you have to cut much weight for this tournament?
Yeah, it was tamale season, so I had to cut close to probably 15 pounds before this. So, but I feel good. So much easier cut than for trials.
Right on. Do you think that the weight cuts play a big advantage in this thing, or do you think it'll be not such much of an advantage by the end of the week?
Absolutely not. I think yesterday I took advantage of getting hydrated, eat well, all that. So I feel good.
Right on, man. Well, congratulations being on the first round pick. We'll see you here later this week.
And womp, womp, womp. We got a couple of super chats here. One for Matthew Boyles and another one for the Elbow Genie.
Dude.
So it seems like Elbow Genie's got a nice crowd.
Elbow Genie's the most
fan
popular.
base.
I mean, Elijah's the face, but Elbow Genie's he's the president, or he's the guy. Like,
I don't know. I'm gonna see like Isaac Stackhouse. I bet he's got a big fan base. They're gonna be throwing up those tents up. So
I know, I hear you, but I just feel like Jonathan Roberts is getting that money this season. I mean, he
Okay.
might make $1,000 in tips.
maybe Matt Harrison. He's got a nice fan base.
So we also got to point out that Gio does bring the best mustache to the table of the PGF,
Absolutely.
as well as Jay pointed out.
Ooh, Brett Bates just giving it to the PGF.
All right. Womp, womp, womp. Brett Bates super chat.
Yeah.
All right. I see some tents there already. Nice.
And so you have to think Dane Leake has to be the next pick. Oh, was the pick in already?
It's got to be Dane Leake.
It has to
And I mean, Dane Leake. The only other dude that I could see Kevin Primo. I really think Kevin has a great shot of finishing top 5 this season. Dane and Kevin are to me the next 2 guys off the board, like on my picks.
Okay.
Oh, it's on my board. Yes, I completely agree.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like
yeah,
it.
Yeah, I learned.
I'm
most of
actually
mine.
happy to be with you, because I was telling Lindsay last night. I was like, man, you're an expert, bro. You are the PGF expert. So if I'm in agreement with you, I know that.
We're in a good spot. Yeah.
Well, I mostly just repackage what you say during the commentary and type it out. So it's circular.
Mel Kiper.
Will Mashish says Elbow Genie is the Shadow Hokage. I don't really know those Naruto references. I know it's a Naruto reference, but I don't really know what that means. So what Hokage are you referred to?
Ooh.
Do you remember?
Oh, I'm the 7th Hokage. No, I'm the 6th Hokage.
I've heard that I was the 10th Hokage, but then they started laughing, so I don't know. What that
So
means.
we got $9.99 for
Womp womp womp.
Isaac
Super
Stackhouse.
chat. Bacon.
Mandy coming in for Isaac Stackhouse.
I'm surprised it's taking them this long. Maybe they're just talking smack over there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's got to be Dane Leake.
And what a coup again. With that pick of Jonathan Roberts a little bit early,
No, that's my
he could possibly get Dane Leake and Gio Ortiz. That's
Well-
going to be a strong.
Well, the draft's
team.
getting ready to get interesting, because we've called every pick so far. I think Dane Leake's going next, and then I think Kevin Primo will fall into the Elkins brothers. But I mean, the next pick, I have no clue who Drew Weatherhead's going to pick. 0.
and that's kind of like the whole next tier. So
Every
it could be
change
any
in
of 5 different
draft order.
guys, 6 different guys, and if he really wants to be wild,
It's over.
who knows?
It's over now.
Yeah, you're right, Michael Libby. I'm Kakashi. At least that's what all the students call me. I've never seen Naruto, but they're all like, "You're Kakashi." I'm like, okay. They say he's dope.
You might need to look it up.
I know.
See if they're
Oh, the
insulting
pick is
or
in.
not.
All right. The second round, first pick, Kevin Primo.
All right.
Oh, okay.
A little bit of shock in the
no.
room on that one, I think.
It makes sense though. I mean, it's his team, and we have him at number 6. That's not that big of a reach.
It's
Multiple-
not, but wow.
You've been in every season of the PGF, correct?
I think
What's going to be different about this season for you compared to the other 2 seasons?
I'm a lot less busy this season. I'm in a whole lot better shape. Cardio's back, and I've got a whole new game to show. So
Right on. You're one of the bigger guys in this field. You made the weight yesterday. Do you think that that's going to be a big advantage for you, or do you think that may have hindered you a little bit on the way in?
it definitely didn't hinder me. It'll be an advantage in certain areas. It just depends on what people give me. If I get past their guard, then it'll definitely come into play.
Definitely, man. You're one of the big stars of the PGF. You're one of the fan favorites, man. I'm very excited to see you go this week, and congratulations on being a second round pick, man.
Okay, I got to tell you
Have
guys,
team such and such on the clock.
I really like that pick right there. Just purely, again, like Dane looks like he's 160, 162, 63. Kevin's going to be 195.
He's heavier.
He's a PG. He's done both seasons.
He's healthy. I don't know about the less busy part. I might disagree with that, but he's healthier, bigger.
Dude, last season,
brown belt now.
last season he did 225. I mean, this is 170. You know what I'm saying? Like he did great in the 225 season off
sick.
of COVID.
Yeah.
So this is where I think the combine is going to really kind of hurt some of the coaches, is that they saw Dane in his stature, and because of his stature not performing quite as well as some of the other guys, and maybe they forgot about his national competition level experience. I mean, he's going to be a great pickup.
Yeah,
whatever he's in
but
this round.
how many times have we seen guys come in with national competition experience and they come in and they struggle in the PGF, or they just lose more times than everybody expects? I mean, we've seen it before, right? Now, obviously, Hunter Colvin came in and dominated, right? And he ended up going undefeated. But I mean, Kamoy, I mean, he was a triple champ in 3 really big promotions, and he came in and ended up middle of the road, right? And so, I mean,
yeah, but if you look at Kamoy in his competitions, he's in that who's number one, where it's often a judge's decision. Don't get me wrong. He gets your arm, he's going to rip your dang arm off. He's a bad man. But so many times in competitions, he gets it by decision. Whereas the competitions I've seen Dane Leake in, he gets that sub.
I mean, he looked phenomenal in the Austin qualifier. So don't get me wrong. He looked absolutely phenomenal. I mean, we're going to find out. I mean, Dane Leake, I mean, he's got to be sitting there and he's got to be a little peeved right now. He's lost some money. Guy that, again, a lot of people are picking as the number 2 dude, and he's fallen all the way now to possibly 6th. But what will the Elkins brothers do? Because they were talking about picking their guys, and I don't think they were very high on Dane. I mean, when I talked to him, I don't think Dane was like, they wanted Gio. Like if Gio was there, they wanted Gio. They're like, maybe, because I think they figured that it was going to be Elijah. And then they obviously knew they were picking Elbow Genie and Caleb. And so they were hoping that it would be something like Dane. And I think they were hoping it'd be like Dane and Kevin. But I know they wanted Gio.
I mean, this really threw a monkey wrench in their draft plan. I mean, I could see them go as crazy. They might even go with David Evers. I mean, I had him ranked way lower, but after his showing and talking to Jake, looking at his lack of neck, his short appendages, so the lever's trying to joint lock that guy at all, he's going to be tough. And so but that's the thing. When you get a monkey wrench in your draft plan, you start going a little wild.
You've got to take the best available, and that's Dane Leake. I mean, not taking Dane Leake here, I think, would be a huge mistake, right?
Oh, I completely agree. I'm just saying wild things might happen right now. And that's one of the things that's great about the draft, is you don't know what's going to happen. You think you have your guy picked out, and the guy ahead of you takes him like, what am I going to do now?
Lindsay, who are they picking?
I agree with you. It's got to be Dane Leake.
Yeah, but who are they going to pick?
I have no idea.
They're so
I hope
flustered
they
right
pick
now. They
Dane
just pick
Leake.
Marcus. They're just like, let's just take Marcus Elkins.
Make mom happy.
Let's get him paid. He's taking us to Applebee's every night. Dude, you think about the Elkins brothers?
Well, who do you think the Elkins are taking?
They've got to take Dane Leake. I mean, I could see David Evers, though. I really could see David Evers. I've heard some talk of that. But it's going to be Dane Leake or Evers, if I had to guess.
Or maybe Kevin Cheryl, a fellow wrestler.
Ooh.
And that could throw a little monkey wrench in Sean's plan. Maybe now's the time for a little bit of a
vindictive pick.
Yeah.
I can see the Elkins doing that.
I think Kevin Cheryl, man, is a stud. I think he's but I think the Elkins brothers are also, they're not like that. They don't want a guy that doesn't want to be on their team. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
they wanted their guys, and Kevin's not one of their guys. They like Kevin. I know they're homies with Kevin, but that's not one of their dudes.
Womp 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 super chat from Still Iller for us, the commentary team.
Hey, thanks, man. He said really nice things about our work and the PGF Insider crew. It means a lot. It means we spent a lot of time doing this, and it's nice to be appreciated, bud.
Yeah, Wallace says we're sleeping on Evan DeWitt.
No, Evan's a really good black belt, but I was looking at him as end of round 2, beginning of round 3 is when I was looking. But again, Dane Leake still being here it's shocking.
I can't believe it's taken them this long to make this pick. I mean, you think they'd be right on Dane Leake.
I just don't think they're picking Dane Leake.
It's crazy. But, I mean, I don't know. Evan Newitt's kind of tough because we saw him do really well in the Louisville qualifier. I had him lower round 3. Pick is in.
We're ready.
It's got to be Dane Leake.
Second pick in the second round, the great Dane Leake.
Yeah. Yeah, he
There we
had
go.
to.
Hey, congratulations, Dane. We'll get it later. How you feeling to be over here in the PGF season 3, Dane?
I feel really good. I'm excited. Man, I had 15 total matches last year. There's 15 possible total matches in the tournament. So
12 in the week.
15, yeah, but 15 total possible potential. So
Considering the postseason, right?
yeah.
How do you feel about the rule set? Do you feel excited about the ways that the points stack up throughout the season? Is that something that interests you, or do you think you're just going to go through and just like submit anybody however it shows up?
Typically I would prefer just whatever submission I can get first, but I mean, we're playing a game, we're scoring for the season, so I'm going for chokes.
We'll see you pass up some joint locks perhaps to go for chokes.
If they're early. If it's later, then you need a submission.
I hear you. You're one of my favorite guys coming into the season, one of my top picks, man. So I'm very excited to see you in the field, man. Congratulations.
Dane has maybe the best back and especially crucifix game. That's I'm a big crucifix player. When I've watched Dane Leake footage, he's got a phenomenal crucifix. That's a steal of a pick right there. I mean, I know again we've talked about the size, just again the difference between him and Kevin, but there's a possibility that Dane Leake finishes in the top 3, and I don't think he beats Elijah, but who knows?
Here's the crazy thing. I think you could have flipped their first and second round picks, and I would have totally believed that.
Mhm.
Like in a ranking wise, that would have made total sense because we talked about like instead of Jonathan Roberts, Dane Leake is number 3 would have made total sense, and then Jonathan Roberts as this pick would have made total sense. So in the end, it kind of works out for them.
Yeah. Womp womp womp. Super chat, a donation for
Kevin Buring.
Kevin
Buring.
Buring. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bjork, that's
Nice.
pretty sure that's Big Daddy.
Yeah, no. Hey, let me tell you about Kevin. We got to talk about Kevin since he just got tipped a little bit, but Kevin is my pick as the blue belt star this season. We saw it in season 1 with Noah. I mean, so many guys. Matt Anderson killed it. Noah Randolph, Blake Randall, and then season 2 we saw Evan and Randy come out and really make a name for themselves. This season's all about Kevin Buring, and Kevin's the guy. He's one of the top 3 guys I'm most excited to see. Like every time he's competing, obviously I'm going to be doing the commentary, but I'm going to be laser focused in just seeing what this kid does. And I'm expecting a couple of black belts to tap to this blue belt this season.
So is he just going after ankle locks, you think?
Nah, the kid's an Applegate product, man. He's sharp everywhere. Yes, leg locks are going to be his main weapon, but I think this kid's going to be on the fringe of making the tournament. I really think he's going to have that. He's going to be in the top 10.
All right. And Dane Leake made a comment that he had 15 matches all year, and there's a potential for 15 matches within the week if he makes it to the finale. So 15 matches, 15 competitions in a year, that's a lot.
Mhm.
So how is this toll gonna affect these competitors?
Yeah, and that's a good point, because if we just talk about activity, Gio and Elijah are the two, and Caleb, they're the 3 most active competitors. It's like Dane said, he only did 15 matches last year. I mean, that's really only a couple of tournaments. Yeah, I'll be kind of interested to see how this wears, especially again him being one of the smaller guys here, how the week ends up wearing on him. I mean, Gio cut 15 pounds. That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of these dudes, like Gio's 6'2". I mean, he's 185.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Dane's, as we saw, 15 matches, a very seasoned competitor. He came in here with a really smart mindset. As soon as he's done weighing in, he spent a couple hours meal prepping, making sure he had that good stuff. He had to set up for his rehydration because he think he did cut just a little bit of weight too. I mean, I know he's smaller, but he's used to the competition grind. He said national level competition experience, and he's also, one of the guys with a clear path to that kill. That's one of his number ones.
Well, who's the best available? Who are you guys picking right here? Who's Drew going to take?
I think if he wants fun, I'd go with Tyler Woolsey. I mean, he's a little bit lower in my rankings, but as far as a guy that will do different crazy submissions, one of the guys that could do the rubber guard stuff, maybe get that go-go clinch bounty from Michael Libby. Oh, the pick is in.
I would pick Kevin Cheryl here. Like that's to me, I would go Kevin Cheryl, maybe Evan DeWitt.
Yeah, Cheryl's definitely up there.
And with their second pick, Team SSG selects Meat Sickle, David Evers.
Oh, that's a great pick.
Yeah.
That's a great pick.
David, you got to be present to win? Okay, well.
He might be doing
We'll
that
get
rocket
David.
science.
Yeah,
We'll
he's got a
interview
real
him next
job.
time he's in. We have Team Toehold and Sean Applegate is now on the clock.
And womp, womp,
He's
womp.
probably listening.
Brett Riley.
I think he did the double
Carlos.
super chat.
All right.
So to both the Carlos.
So here's the thing. We just saw how much the combine mattered because David Evers showed out. I had him, as third round, even late third round, possibly. But he showed out what a physical freak he is. And boom, second rounder.
Yeah. He had a great combine, and man, the dude is a stud. I mean, he pumped out 98 push-ups. I mean, it looked like he could have done 150. And people were like, "Oh, he wasn't
Without
extending the whole."
stopping.
Like, dude, those are pretty good push-ups, and it doesn't matter. Like the effortlessness, how strong he is. I mean, he's a problem. Now, if we're thinking about points, though, I do question David Evers right there just because he is going to be going breaks all season. But I think he's going to get a lot of force.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, he's gonna have some super exciting matches. I mean, it may be breaks. I don't know where he's gonna end up at the end of the season, but his matches are gonna be super exciting, intense. He's gonna be aggressive, and I'm just gonna love watching his matches.
I mean, if we look back at the Decatur qualifier, he might have had the elbow genie rule against the elbow genie because he got him quick in that submission.
Yeah, no, he did, and I mean the guy he's a bit of an unknown, right? Because he still hasn't competed very much. He's got a real job, and so I don't know how he stacks up to the rest of the field. We have seen again a win against Jonathan Roberts, who was picked in the first round. So I mean, don't sleep on David Evers. Now I think Sean, he's going Kevin back to back here, no question, right?
No question. I'd bet money on it.
And if you're new to the chat, I just want to reiterate that the donations that are coming in through the super chat, if you specify the competitor, they are going to get that donation. So whatever YouTube takes out their percentage, whatever we get, that donation is going to go specifically to that competitor. So that is why all these donations are coming in. Again, so you can donate to any competitor that you would like to see that money go to.
Another fun thing to think about is one of the things we love about season one of the PGF is the interaction. But not only can you give super chats and essentially tip your favorite competitors, but I know there's also a big bounty game out there. I mean, during the qualifiers, I think we got over $150 bounty for a twister. I know we got some bounties on the board right now.
Well, I think it would be cool even if people just said like, look, like if somebody taps Elijah, I'll give them $20. And we get that pot up. Just like. Maybe it doesn't happen, but maybe if somebody taps Elijah, they get an extra $500 just because there's like 15 people that are like, I want to see the bad guy lose. But,
I'll do that right now, Matt. $20 from Egghead Warrior, cash in hand to anyone that taps Elijah. You can see me hand it to them.
Starting
no
the
question about
pot
it.
there.
But yeah, it's going to be really fun. And that's what like interacting with the chat and interacting with you guys, we're going to be able to really create a special season. And make sure you guys are doing the fantasy and everything. But looking at the teams now, right? Because we're going to assume again that Applegate's going to take both of his guys. What team do you think? What team's the strongest right now? Like, what team? If you got to pick to be a coach of one of these teams, which team are you taking?
All right. So Elijah's the only one on that team.
Well, we're just assuming that the two Kevins are going to be the next two picks.
If Kevin Cheryl is the next
Sean
pick.
Applegate's team.
Yeah.
Yeah, with his three guys, that he already knows their strengths. They know how to be coached by him. Like you talked about the coachability. You know, he knows their weaknesses. He knows how to position them properly. That's gonna be very dangerous. I mean, but such and such, you know, with picking up Dane Leake at 6 and Elbow Genie, that's super quality as well.
Well, somebody's going to end up with. I mean, there's going to be probably two teams with multiple black belts. You know, we got, and I know you have the two Kevins in your top 10, like power rankings. So you've got them at 8 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm right there with you. You know, like I said, I think Kevin Cheryl's making the tournament. There's no doubt in my mind Kevin Cheryl's going to make the tournament, and I think Buring's going to be on that fringe of, hey, is this blue belt going to make it all season? Like, oh man, like Kevin Buring, like he's in 9th spot today. Oh, he fell back to 11. Oh wait, he had a great day. Now he's in 7th. I think that's going to be his season.
All right, the pick is in.
We just got a comment from Carlos M about don't sleep on Evan DeWitt. I mean, and that's the thing is I think a lot of us are, but there's not a lot of footage out there of him.
Well, I think Evan DeWitt, especially,
Okay.
one of these teams are going to have 3
Second
black belts. I
round
think that's
choice
gonna
for
be
team
such and such.
toehold. Sean Applegate has selected Kevin Cheryl.
I mean, Kevin moved up. You saw him move to the edge of the mat. I mean,
Congratulations, Kevin. All right, you're in a field of at least 8 black belts as a purple belt. How do you feel coming into that?
Pretty good, man. Yeah, like there's a lot of good people in this tournament. I'm not really worried about matching up with somebody because they wear a different color fabric.
Right on, right on. What kind of strategy do you think you're going to play into this? Are you going to look for a lot of like chokes right off the bat, or are you just going to kind of take what comes to you?
I'm getting 12 toe holds.
12 toe holds. This man needs flip-flops for the rest of his life.
Flip-flops for days. Flip-flops for days. That's the real game.
All right, so you heard it here. Toe holds for everybody coming from Kevin Cheryl. All right. Excited to have you here, man. Congratulations. Sean is on the clock again for his 3rd pick.
I was talking, or we were talking to Kevin Cheryl a little earlier, and he's like, okay, I've got a list of guys that I need to sub and then guys that I can toe hold.
yeah, he's going to be walking around. He's going to have the croc leather, the elephant leather, the ostrich leather, he's going to have every single color. Yeah.
It's going to go well with that strong fanny pack game he's rocking there.
Right. So make sure that you guys are supporting shoptoehold.com. They make custom flip-flops. And he has put out a bounty that anybody that finishes a toe hold will get a custom pair of flip-flops. So that's what Kevin is after.
Well,
it's a pair of flip-flops.
So I want to hear from the chat. Guys, who has the best team so far? If you've got to become coach of one of these teams, which team you taking? So Sean Applegate, we got Elijah Carlton, Kevin Cheryl. We got the Survival Gear Drew Weatherhead's team, Caleb McAllister, David Evers. We got such and such, Jonathan Roberts, Dane. And then the Kevin's Heroes, Primo's Heroes have Ortiz and Kevin Primo. Honestly, they're all
Darius says
super
Trapplegate.
easy.
Duh.
Rep Trapplegate.
All right.
Yeah, but you can make an argument for all of them. I mean, you know, that Caleb McAllister, David Evers team, that's really interesting.
Yeah, BJ Webb says such and such.
I mean, Kevin Cheryl versus Kevin Primo, that's a war. I have no idea who wins that match.
And I'm going to say it again, you know, such and such getting Dane Leake at that level. They again, it totally nullified the reach of Roberts. So they got 2 amazing guys. That's awesome.
Well, I think Evan DeWitt and Mario Gay are probably my next 2 guys off the board. And I think, man, Evan DeWitt, I think Evan DeWitt's a great pick for the 3rd round. Man.
Yeah, we're forgetting about Manning.
But yeah, of course, after they get around to picking Kevin Buring.
Yeah.
Hasn't done that
Yeah,
yet.
Kevin Buring's going next.
Oh, there we go. Open on the screen.
So he's picking Buring over a black belt.
Over a bunch of black belts.
Yeah.
I mean, we got 4 black belts still out there, right? Because we got Matt Harrison, Evan DeWitt, Longard, Is there any others? So maybe I guess we got 3 black belts on the board. Yeah, I think we just have 3.
Looking out over. Yeah.
Yeah, just 3 left.
I think I would go with Evan DeWitt next.
Yeah, but you go Evan DeWitt when Mario Gayor, who beat him at the Louisville qualifier, is still on the board.
That's true.
And the thing-
Mario popped his foot.
No, Mario's
Pretty
been
good.
looking amazing. I think, like I said, I like Mario, Evan, and now here's what I'm going to say. I'm a huge fan of Manning, but I don't think Manning's getting picked this round. But I think Manning is going to have a top. He's definitely going to finish in the top 50% of the season. So he's going to finish in the top 12. I think Manning will fall all the way back to Applegate as Applegate's 4th pick.
And we see Aunt Brenda's back in the chat. She says, yes, whoever picks Mario wins. I agree, Brenda.
Nah,
I agree.
Brenda
Don't-
and Lindsay have had some
Don't throw
issues
me
in
under the
past.
bus. Mario looked fantastic in the qualifiers, and I could definitely tell that just looking at him in the qualifiers, his game has definitely leveled up.
And I think when Steven talked to Sean Applegate, it's almost like his evil plan is coming to fruition. You got Elijah, he's going to do Kevin's. He might get Manning Leverett, which is who he wanted as well. Wow.
Oh, so Ruben says, like, look, Mario's very good, but if he and Evan go 10 times, Evan wins 8.
All right, we're picks.
Pick is in.
Yeah, I think Evan's going to have a great season. I think
Okay. 3rd round,
Mario,
first pick,
Mario's going next.
team toe hold, Kevin Buring.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I think Mario's going to
After Kevin.
yeah. Because he had a really good we see the draft that really affected Drew.
So you're a
Leatherhead's
3rd round
picks.
pick
Yeah,
in this,
definitely.
and you are a blue belt, correct?
Yes, sir.
How do you feel being picked ahead of all these black belts?
I feel good. Feel good about it.
What's your strategy coming into this week? Just break everything?
Yeah, just heel hook the good guys and choke the guys that aren't good.
All right. Hey, that
Oh,
sounds like a good
he's
strategy
honest.
to me. They all equal into points. Is there anything you want to say to your fans back at home?
Thank you.
That's it.
Yeah, that's
All right. Hey, we're excited to have you here, Kevin. Congratulations, man, on your draft choice. Next up, SSG.
Oh, I love it, man. He'll hook the good dudes, choke the bad ones. I mean, that's the strategy for everybody, right?
It is. I mean, he's just brutally honest. I mean, he's what people have told him. He's like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and see, this is where it's tough, because like, oh man, everybody's sleeping on Mario. And I hear you. Mario's really good. Mario won a qualifier. He had a good season 1 in PGF, got his black belt. Like, guy's very talented. Now, there's definitely an argument that Mario should be picked before Kevin Buring, right? But other than that, I don't see Mario being picked over any of the other guys.
Yeah.
Well, I think Sean just picked Kevin Buring because that's one of his dudes, and he's coachable, and he knows Sean's coaching style. They're going to work well together. Mario is a very talented grappler, but not a lot of the coaches are going to know him unless they spent time in the PGF watching his competitions and stuff. So Mario's not putting himself out there on a national level. Very talented grappler again, but we know his talent. Do the coaches know his talent?
My draft board is looking at Eggheads looks very similar in that, I've got Mario. Egghead has Mario 7th. I've got Mario. This is where we have a difference. I got Mario 10th.
Okay.
So to me, this is right around the time I would pick Mario.
Well, I have to kind of echo Miggy in the chat. I don't know what to expect. My draft predictions are no longer accurate.
Very punny.
Well, this is where things are going to get crazy because I don't think anybody can predict what's going to happen here on out.
No.
Yeah, this is where you're on the second page of wide receivers in your fantasy football draft. You're like, man,
This is where you win though,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah,
your
it
top
is.
guys are going to do good, but like this is going to determine which team wins are these third, fourth, and fifth picks.
Right. Because even in your fantasy, I mean, like, what guys you want to spend the most amount of money on, but it's those guys that come up out of nowhere and score all these points, like Noah, like
Or Manning
Kevin
Leverett. Let's
Primo.
just say, like, again, let's say Manning Leverett just has a killer season and he finishes top 5, or there's going to be a guy. There is every single season that comes out of nowhere and finishes in that top.
Who's going to be that Evan Stapler?
Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, I think we see a repeat of season 1 a little bit here. I think Noah's going to make or break somebody's fantasy team and one of the teams up there.
Noah is a stud. I'm telling you, man. He's as tough as they come. Like, if you're going to tap Noah, you're going to tap Noah. Like,
Kiai's making sure that we know that Mario's a brown belt.
Oh,
he didn't
for
want
some reason-
him to get any kind of recognition.
Oh, yeah. Okay. My bad. For some reason, I thought he just got his black belt like really recently.
So talking about Noah again, I don't know if we've ever done it officially on the air. In your Grappling Discourse podcast, that blue belt, that's an Ninja Choke Master that you referenced, we've all known is.
Oh, no, I mean, honestly, Nilo, like, there was a shot in the finale where Noah taps Nilo. Like, he had a ninja choke and then they reset and they didn't give Noah, like, they didn't give
Same
Noah
position.
the same position, but that was a really deep ninja choke. Noah is one of the toughest guys here. I'm telling you, man. I mean, I could see him giving so many of these guys problems. And he's done it before too, because the PGF season is so different. He's been through the 20 season gauntlet, the 20 game gauntlet, and he did that as a 16-year-old blue belt.
All right,
Now he's coming in as a purple belt, just turned 18.
The pick is in.
Mario's my guess.
Okay. This pick surprises me a little bit.
Oh.
With their third choice, SSG chooses the tie-dyed ape, the wandering grappler, Isaac Stackhouse.
That is a surprise. And Steven, his coach, said that surprised him.
Man, I know you worked really hard getting into this season. You competed in all of the qualifiers except for one. Battled through some really tough stuff going through all that. How do you think all of that has prepared you to get ready for today?
It allowed me a lot of time in the lab to work on like new stuff. I was experimenting with new stuff during that, like tending to that injury. So I think it's going to be a pretty different outcome and like run for me for this one. So pretty excited.
I've been in the training room with you a lot over the last couple of months and seeing the stuff that you've been trying to work on and the game plan that you're trying to bring in here. What do you want to tell the guys that are sitting out there about the style that you're going to bring to this event this week?
It's going to get weird.
Hey, and he's not lying, guys. It's going to get weird. Congratulations, Isaac. All right, we
Weird
have
Al.
team such and such back on the clock.
I mean, that's just an absolutely shocking pick. I wouldn't have predicted that in a million years.
I had him third from the bottom. I mean, I love the guy, love his content, amazing dude, just wow. That's got to be the biggest reach of the draft.
Yeah. I mean, I had him in that fringe of like, is he going to be in the bottom 4? Or is he going to be a 5th round? Like I was thinking 5th round. And so taking him third, I mean,
You're almost speechless.
well, it's just, yeah, I would love to kind of know the thought process behind that pick because, again, man, Isaac's super tough. He's an MMA grappler. He competed at every qualifier, but he didn't win any of the qualifiers.
He didn't win a lot of matches.
And he faced a lot of these dudes, and some of these dudes that haven't been picked beat him. So, yeah, it'll be interesting.
I completely agree. I mean, that's why I had to justify my picks during the pre-draft show, and I'm like, well, he lost to these other guys,
right?
And we just see he has all the experience, but not the record. I mean, I have to think that the familiarity of seeing Isaac around the 10th Planet Decatur for the last few days might have hey, he's a cool dude. Let's get him on the team. I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest, man. If I'm the 3rd and 4th coach right here, if I'm Elkins, and I'm, in all honesty, man, it sets up team such and such, and our Kevin's Primo's Heroes team. Like they got to just be like, oh my god, we're going to get to pick 2 more studs because now we got Mario on the board. We got Evan DeWitt. We got Tyler Woolsey. We got Manning Leverett. Like,
Still available.
Man, yeah.
Because Supernatural Survival Gear does custom tie-dyed geese. SupernaturalSurvivalGear.com.
He's on brand, as they would
Right.
say, I guess,
Right,
with all
right.
those tie-dye gear he wears. But hey,
Tie-dye
I'm
gear.
very happy for him.
But here's the thing now. Dude, they might just take Marcus Elkins next. I mean, they've talked about taking Marcus Elkins at 3rd. So we're talking about 2 guys that were potentially going to be reserve players going in the 3rd round.
There's no way you pick him 3rd now because no, not objectively. At the very beginning, we talked about it's absurd to pick Marcus Elkins 3rd now. Much love to you, but now they have Isaac Stackhouse as that reach already. That just gives you more information to know, like, hey, he's definitely going to be around in the 4th round. There's no way.
It's just so unpredictable, though.
You think Drew would do it despite decision?
Dude, Drew's looking for weird, and of all these guys, he's one of the weirdest. Like Marcus Elkins will throw up buggy chokes. He'll throw up like weird. I mean, he's just a weird grappler.
I mean, his proportions. I mean, 6'4". Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, honestly,
shocked.
I'm just shocked too. Yeah, I hear you guys. Like now, anything can truly happen, and that's what's exciting about this draft, and especially with the Elkins brothers. I mean, dude, Marcus is standing right now. He's moving towards the edge of the mat. Like, I mean, I think he's expecting to get picked.
Maybe.
Oh, I think we need
Might
a
just have to go to
camera
the
on
bathroom.
Marcus if he doesn't get picked. Does he get the sad puppy dog eyes and be like, don't you love me, bros? Don't you love me?
All right.
The pick is
They're
in.
ready for the next pick.
Oh man, Marcus Elkins is okay. He's going to the bathroom.
He's just not even. He's like, nah, I'm not getting picked yet.
When he went to the bathroom, the brothers might actually pick him just to make him embarrassed.
And with their 3rd pick, team such and such chooses the Wolf Sheep, Tyler Woolsey.
Good pick.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, he was second most best player available left on my board. I had him as number 10, so
Get a
it's
shirt hand
right
off
around the
here
area.
really quick.
Man, we got Mario Gayor still there.
I know.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, but
Dude, you've been in the game for a long time. You blitzed through the qualifiers down in South Florida. You're on a bit of a hot streak based on everybody's take. Well, how do you feel coming in this week?
I feel good. I'm surprised to be picked in the 3rd round. I was hoping it'd be a little bit later and then come in like the ultimate underdog, wreck everybody, make it to the finals.
Okay, so you think you got drafted a little bit higher than you thought you would be?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm honored. There's still some black belts out on the mat that haven't been picked yet. That's kind of crazy to me, but I'm gonna prove that it was a good pick.
Well, nice, man. That just shows that people really respect your game and everybody's been following you, man. So congratulations. We'll see you the rest of the week. On the clock, Team Primo's Heroes.
Yeah. So look at this right now. We could have a team. You got Gio Ortiz, Kevin Primo, Mario Gayor, Evan DeWitt. I mean, that's a squad right there. That's a squad right there.
This draft has been crazy. I mean, this is one of those times in the fantasy football draft where you might just like take your brackets, tear them up, and just throw them up in the air. But I have no idea.
Exactly.
Yeah. Somebody picked like the Lions running back like 4th, and you're just like,
well, in the end, I mean, I did have Woolsey as 10, and he's about there. So that pick is right in the right range. Just some of the other picks have been a little wild.
Man, here's the thing though. Here's what I gotta say is Woolsey, he took a bunch of time off. Yes, he's been in the game. I trained with this kid when he was a blue belt a long time ago. Like this kid's been in the game a long time, but he did take off 3 years, 4 years for college. Yes, he's coming back as a purple belt, won the qualifier, but Mario Gayor's been in this game grinding, and
Brown belt.
man, I just think if I'm this team getting ready to do the back-to-back, I mean, you're getting ready to do Mario Gayor. And if you go Mario, Evan DeWitt, I mean, that's just a squad. I'm telling you,
All
that is a squad.
So Wallow commented here, we're getting to the point where a black belt may be left off the board. So do you think that's going to happen?
Because here's the thing, right? Both me and Egghead here, we had Stackhouse as a potentially being one of those bottom 4 guys.
Exactly.
So everybody's now got to sweat because he's gone. Like every time there's a potential, like let's say Lewis Collins gets picked or somebody like that, it's just like every time one of those guys get picked, well, now all of a sudden that leaves that opening for you might not get to play.
That's right. They have to displace somebody. There's a finite number of available spots on the active roster for these teams. So anyone we thought might not get in there. Again, we talked about my favorite was Keahi. Again, I think he might go in the 5th round. But then the question becomes, for each one of those, who gets left off?
Yeah. No, I hear you. And as a black belt, like if I was like left off, I would just, I don't even know. I might just leave. I swear to God, I might just leave. I just be like, dude, like,
I'm not sitting around all week waiting for a possibility to compete.
I gotta wait for Keahi to get injured. I gotta wait for Keahi to get injured to have a chance. Like, there's just no way I'm leaving.
but we kind of saw that a little bit in season 1. Things didn't go so well for the black belts those first couple of weeks, and all of a sudden we didn't see him anymore.
That's true.
I mean, black belts have the biggest ego.
Issue for sure.
Black belts have the biggest ego, and
they put the pressure on themselves too. Like a lot of that is self-employed.
I hear you, Ruben. This is getting wild, dude. But I'm telling you, I'm looking at the board and I just see Gio Ortiz, Kevin Primo, Mario Gayor, and Evan DeWitt on a team. Like your 4th. Like, I mean, that's the squad I want to be coach of.
I'll just say this. I mean, it's interesting to talk about, but there's no way a black belt's going to be a replacement player. No way.
I mean, we got 3 more.
I don't know. Let's see what Drew Weather has to do.
So, I mean, I know the Elkins are interested in Longar as a value pick later on. I mean, Drew, I would definitely pick up Harrison in the 5th round latest. I can't believe he'd pass on him.
But we know Marcus Elkins is not going to be a replacement player. So again, so if let's just say there were 6 guys that we were kind of targeting for that replacement player. Well, 2 of them we know for sure are, I mean, Isaac and Marcus Elkins are not replacement players now. So those other 4 guys have got to just be going like praying to whatever God they believe in. It's like, God, please let Drew Weatherhead get crazy and pick me too.
There you go. Oh, the pick is in.
So listen. Okay.
You get a little bit of time. So there's
Primo's Heroes. 3rd pick is the Scarecrow of Doom.
Oh,
Matt Harrison.
It's getting crazy. This is getting crazy.
Well, that answers that because he was the one we thought.
Congratulations,
black belts, he might have the shot of not making it.
You're in season 1 of the PGF, correct?
Yes, sir.
How do you feel coming into season 3? Is there anything that you can carry over from season 1 that you think is going to help you out?
It was a rough trip, during the whole season. It was a grind, and it got.
Are you more happy that it's going to be all done in 1 week, or do you think you like that longer format better?
We'll see.
All right, man. Well, congratulations, dude, on the 3rd round pick. We'll see you here all week. And Primo's Heroes are on the clock again for their 4th pick.
Oh, Buring getting 30 more bucks. I hear you, Steve.
Super chat, Steve Shaker.
I hear you, Steve. I'm team Applegate, guys. I just think they're gonna have a phenomenal season. But we got to talk about these picks because now I'm just complete. You're right. Randy Rhoden might not get picked.
That'd be insane. I mean, you don't pick a D1 wrestler. You don't pick a guy that Stephen Aiken himself said it took all he had to get a submission on. In Stevens, a seasoned competitor, black belt, gym owner, and the other fact that he's going to be 35 pounds bigger than some of these competitors going against. Randy Rhoden will be once he fully rehydrates.
Well, I think we're going to see Eli double up on the black belts. I think he's like, dude, look, I can have Kevin, who's a brown belt, but then 3 black belts on my team. He's definitely going black belt pick, whether it's Evan or Eric.
Well, we mentioned earlier that Matt Harrison, triangles for days. He can get the chokes. He can put those points on the board. But he's also our oldest competitor, correct?
The big 4-0.
He had a fascinating season 1 because he won some matches, right? Like he would get 7 points, but then he would lose to a blue belt. And then he would get 7 points, and then he'd, lose to a purple belt. And so he had a very inconsistent season, even though, again, he scores points, though, because he does get those chokes. But, man, I just don't see how – I hear you, Wallow. I mean, Mario still being on the board, I mean, don't know what to say.
Yeah,
And that's the thing, you're talking about maybe Eric Longer going next. But again, we talk, as Wallace pointed out, Mario beat Scarecrow Doom. He also beat Longar.
Well, I'm just now trying to get in these guys' heads, which might be a mistake because it's very unpredictable. I just think he's going back-to-back black belts.
Yeah, I don't think you want Drew's head. He is wild.
Nah, Trip, I hear you, brother. Trip says, look, the Scarecrow pick makes a lot more than the Stackhouse pick. Yeah. I mean, if we're analyzing this draft, I mean, that's what we're doing. We're here analyzing the draft. I mean, there's been some wonky picks.
Hey, again, love Isaac, but that has to be the biggest reach of the draft. That you can't. There's no more potential for a bigger reach.
Well, what would be crazy is I can see Applegate down there because right now I'm liking excuse me. I was saying I like Mario and Evan DeWitt as that pick, but there's a possibility Applegate. You just imagine this team: Elijah Carlton, Kevin Cheryl, Kevin Buring, Manning Leverett, and Mario Gayor.
Ooh,
Give me that squad all day.
I think it's definitely going Manning Leverett. I think you're very much right. He knows him. He has experience with him. He knows he's coachable. Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be one of them.
I mean, Sean's getting the guys he wants, and I'm telling you, if he gets Mario and Manning Leverett, I mean, to me, go ahead and give him that Bitcoin. That's a killer squad.
Yeah, he mentioned Manning yesterday, right, during the interview. So yeah, Sean's getting exactly what he wanted.
So this is his 4th and 5th pick, so he might go Manning Leverett, and I would not be surprised if he went Noah Randolph. Again, in the system, he knows he's super coachable.
I would love to see Noah end up on Sean's team. Yeah. I think that would be a perfect team for him to be on. Noah is, he's one of my guys. I mean, I promoted him to purple belt, and he's the quietest guy here. He's not going to say a word, but he's going to listen to every single thing you have. There's times like Noah will just I'll be like showing somebody else a move, and he'll just be sitting there, not saying a word, just watching, and then he'll ask a little question, and I think he'd be perfect.
What a bunch of young killers he would have too. I think there was a question earlier. So everyone should know that the 6th round picks, so the bottom 4 will be replacement players. They will be held in reserve and will not have matches unless they have to replace somebody for injury or otherwise this season.
Okay, here we go. It sounds crazy. I just heard him say.
And
something.
with the first pick in the 4th round, Primo's Heroes select Noah Randolph.
Oh my God, this is getting crazy. This is getting crazy.
Congratulations, man.
Noah Randolph.
So as a 4th round pick, I'm not sure that everybody expects you to be going this high. How do you feel getting selected in the 4th round? Right? Are you going to go out here and choke all these dudes that got picked ahead of you?
Guess we'll see.
And so, yeah, he's going to choke all these dudes that got picked ahead of him and after him. And anybody that wants to come in the comments, he'll choke you too if you come down to Decatur, man.
Oh, my God.
Congratulations, Noah, man. We're excited to have you in there, man. Team such and such is on the clock.
Noah's my guy. Noah's my guy. I mean, again, but man, I'm telling you, you can't predict what's going to happen now.
No, I had him as a possible high 4th round pick. I mean, that's low 4th round pick. I
mean, dude, Noah's a savage, and the Beej is right, man. We got Beej. He knows what's up. Noah's a savage, and again, PGF veteran, and he did so well as a 16-year-old blue belt. And I'm telling you, I mean, I don't know.
No, it's a great pickup. I mean, I think everyone had him as a big time sleeper, and so they saw a value pick and they jumped on before anyone else got a chance to. Very smart move.
Thank you, Kai Johnson, for mentioning that. Guys, make sure that you are joining the channel. So underneath the video, if you are on a laptop or a PC, there should be a button underneath the video that says join, and that will give you some exclusive videos in the archive there. So make sure you are joining the channel.
Man, this is wild, man.
Alan Michael, I am a little surprised. Like, we know Noah is
I'm
fantastic.
surprised. I gave the man a purple belt. All right.
Right. Well,
He's one of my main, he's one of my main guys. Okay. Yeah. He's a stud. Okay. He's really, really good. But I just don't take him over Mario Gayor. I just don't, and I don't take him over Evan DeWitt. And so
I think I'm going to make a prediction for Drew Weatherhead's next pick.
Good luck.
I think I've got inside the crazy.
No, I don't know.
I think he's going Matthew Boyles.
100% he's going Matthew Boyles. He's right.
I'm telling
He's
you.
right.
He said, "Let's get
He's
weird."
right.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what's going to happen.
He named him Ben Askren's son. I think he loves the idea of that, and I think that's where he goes.
Do you think he's sad he didn't get the meat sickle?
I heartbroken.
Yeah. So Mario won the Louisville qualifier, but again, he beat.
Yes.
Yeah. I just don't know what's going on anymore. I mean, everybody's got to be sweating. If you haven't been picked, I mean, you just got to be sweating. You got to be sweating.
I think somebody said that. Was it Andrew Wellen said Mario's a huge value pick? Yes, I had him ranked as number 7, and he's still on the board in the 4th round. Somebody's gonna be very happy they picked him up.
Yeah, they could be an alternate. I mean, anybody at this point could be an alternate. I mean, we're starting to get towards that last 8, and so looking at the teams right now, here's a little update for you guys. We got Sean Applegate. He's got his guys: Elijah Carlton, Kevin Cheryl, Kevin Buring. We've got the number 2 pick, Drew Weatherhead, with Caleb McAllister, David Evers, and Isaac Stackhouse. At number 3, we got Jonathan Roberts, Dane Leake, Tyler Woolsey. And then we have Eli Knight's team, which is Gio Ortiz, Kevin Primo, Matt Harrison, and Noah Randolph.
Oh, he does have the meat sickle. So he probably is happy. David Evers, he's Drew's nicknamed him the meat sickle.
Yeah, no, I mean, no. Drew's going for guys that he's got nicknames for. Seriously. I mean, you've heard him. He's got the meat sickle. He's got Leonidas. He's got.
Brenda, subscribing is different from joining. So when you join, you have options on I think it's 99 cents a month is the cheapest.
Bread eater.
I'm just blown away. I don't even know how we're talking about it. I can't even read the chat right now. I just don't know what's going on. I mean, I'm blown away by what's going on. I mean, I thought Dane Leake at 6 was crazy, let alone what's going on now.
Yeah, I can't believe Mario's still on the board.
Yeah, we'll make sure that you guys see the complete list of the roster. I mean, it's going to be up everywhere. Oh man,
and the pick is in.
It's going to be Marcus Elkins. Mike.
Are you back, sir? Oh, whoa, you're hot.
I mean, at least they got their brother in the 4th round, not the 3rd.
And with their 4th pick, Team Such and Such selects Ain't Nothing Wrong with Silver, Marcus Elkins.
Is that his nickname?
I mean,
that's a long nickname.
This is just crazy. I mean, now we're looking at a real possibility.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah,
some black belts are not going to get to play.
4th round pick. How do you think that is? Do you think you're going to get a little bit higher, or is it about where you stacked out?
Dude, honestly, that's a little bit higher than I thought that I was going to go. I'm super excited about it, though.
Would you have rather had better coaches?
Yeah, probably. Is what I would say. Listen. You ever had coaches that were so incompetent you needed 2 of them?
How many Elkins does it take to win a match?
Right, apparently 3.
All right, well, we got them all here. PGF Season 3, Team Such and Such. Congratulations, Marcus. SSG is now on the clock.
This is crazy, man. Well.
Okay. So, yeah, Supernatural Survival Gear is next. So you guys are predicting who?
There's no predictions anymore.
Matthew Boyles?
I have no idea what's going on.
Why not?
I have no idea what's going on. I feel like I need to go
Lay
run
down.
a couple miles or something.
I need to take a nap.
Yeah, I know. My heart's just this defies all logic.
Take a cold shower. Just
Yeah.
what's going on here? Just get some caffeine in you.
And no offense, okay, but are these coaches trying to win, or are they just trying to be entertaining? Because that comes down to it,
I think Sean's trying to win.
Yeah,
I think he came with a very coherent strategy. He wants his guys. He knows he can coach. He knows the most about them, and he probably already has strategies for his guys against all the other competitors. He's a mastermind, and I'm gonna say right now, I bet he walks away with $500 worth of Bitcoin at
Yeah.
the end of the season.
Yeah. I mean, to me, if he gets, I mean, if Matthew Boyles goes next, I might throw this mic. I mean, again, no offense. Just no offense.
Plenty of pens. Throw those.
But
Mics are expensive.
I might just be like, I mean,
don't flip the
Yeah,
table.
pen. Yeah, go for pen. Maybe a little can.
But
No, these are-
I don't know. I mean, but he could do it. I mean, or if not, if I could see him get him in the 5th round. I mean,
Yeah.
he just seemed amused by it.
yeah. I mean,
All right,
again,
let's talk about who all's left. Okay, so Manning, Eric Longar, Mario, Carlos, Josh Gibbs, Randy Rhoden, Matthew Boyles, Lewis Collins, and Evan DeWitt.
Well, if I think Applegate, I'm positive he's taking Manning Leverett, which is just a steal.
So do you think that it's these guys just don't know, like didn't do their back research, or they are just going for entertainment value, or like?
I think there's both of that. I think yeah. Because again, Mario still being on the board is, I mean, again, if we're talking about like, hey, I want to win the season and I want to like create the best team. I mean, a couple of these guys, I mean, there's just no way Mario loses to a couple of these guys that have been picked. Just no way.
No. I think with Eli, I think, him going with Kevin, I think there's 2 reasons for that. One, it's Primo's Heroes team, and he's been talking to Brandon a lot, and Brandon's been really high on him to possibly win it all.
Well, if we're being honest, though, Kevin's also, I mean, he was in your top 6, 7 players. I mean, maybe it was a little reach at number 5, but I mean, we're seeing some crazy reaches.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, but like I said, he went with Harris, and that blew my mind. But like you said, he has that experience, and he'll get you the kills. I don't know.
Yeah. And again, chat, we're just here to kind of analyze the draft picks. We're here to give honest assessments of what's going on. So, don't get mad at us. We're like,
Hey, I when we did the pre-draft show, I said, hey, even if you're 24th, you're in the top 24. So you made it even here.
Yeah.
But now it's just a question of how you rack and stack people. And hey, that's part of the game. That's part of the fun is like figuring out who should be where.
Well, it's like I said, I gave Noah his purple belt, and I know Noah's incredibly talented. I think Noah's going to have a great season, but there's again, man, like Evan DeWitt was still on the board.
And with their 4th pick, Drew Weatherhead and SSG select season 2 vet dump truck Randy Rhoden.
Okay,
that's a good pick.
Okay, that's a great pick.
You're gonna see him in a second.
What's up, Randy?
He is the Randy.
How you feeling
Bowl.
today?
He is
Feeling
rehydrated.
pretty good. Way better than yesterday.
Yeah, was yesterday kind of tough for you?
You could say that.
Yeah. So weight cutting, you had a big cut. You think that's going to help you out by the end of the week?
Yeah, it'll only get better by the end of the week. I'll probably be like 200 some pounds, whatever.
Over 200 pounds by the end of the week. And there's some guys that walked in and just weighed less than 170 in this season. So I think that's going to definitely play into your advantage. Based on what you had last season going into this season, what kind of changes can we see for Randy Rhoden?
I'm going to be a little more smart with how I accumulate points. I'm not just going to be focused on the 6-0 time. That really bit me in the butt, just not exploring other options.
So you're just going to take whatever comes in front of you and just try to get out of there?
Not necessarily. I will prioritize the choke like earlier in the match, but as it gets closer to the end, I'll definitely start looking for more options.
Looking for whatever it takes towards the end, man. I'm excited to have you in here, Randy. And at this weight class, man, I know you're going to be impressive.
I just don't think there's a lot of guys that can
Next
tap
up,
Randy
team
Rhoden.
toe hold.
There's not a lot of guys that can tap Randy Rhoden.
Oh, no way. Especially at this weight class. I mean, you heard him right there. By the end of the week, he's going to be at 200 pounds. He's a monster. Again, he's used to going up against D1 wrestlers. I think he actually wrestled college at 170. So he's used to manhandling 170-pound college D1 wrestlers. He's going to go up against some of these 160-pound guys, and they're going to be flying across the dang mats.
Well, I'm super happy to see Randy get picked. He was one of the guys I was kind of worried, like, man, is Randy not going to get picked now? Because he is one of the guys I really want to see compete. And he's going to be 200 pounds. He's got the wrestling. I mean, none of these, he's the best wrestler here.
Easily
The best wrestler here, you know. And Kevin Cheryl wrestled Iowa, Northern Iowa, excuse me. But Randy's the best wrestler here. And he's going to be able to dictate where these fights take place. If he can avoid the leg locks, I don't see very many guys tapping him, if any.
Yeah, and I was hoping in that 8 months that he's had to do some training, you know, go and practice some sequences, his takedowns into a pass, top position, dominate, and then to a submission. So if he's got like strings of those sequences going on, then yeah, I mean, because like you said, you're right. He's going to be able to dictate where he lands, and if he's spent that 8 months, you know, trying to nail those passes down, then yeah, we'll see some trouble.
I mean, I think you said on your Purple Belt podcast and the Grappling Discourse podcast, you know, you want to see not just a head and arm, you want to see possibly a head and arm to a chair sit to a back take. I mean, if he just implemented that little change to his game, that adds a whole nother choking avenue for kills.
You know, I've seen him compete multiple times over the past year. Just happened to run into him at a few different events, and Randy, you know, what's been really cool is watching him explore different aspects of grappling, and I'm talking about the submission game. I've seen him jump on head and arms. I've seen him jump on leg locks. I mean, I was watching him just some of these local things, so nothing serious. You know, I don't think he was going in there to win, obviously, but he's going in there to explore. And he's worked a lot on his legs. And again, I think if he can avoid the legs with most of these guys, I think Randy is. I'm telling you, man, because again, like. Evan DeWitt's super talented. Mario's super talented, but man, Randy's Randy. You know, he's a D1 wrestler, and I think that was a good pick. And I actually had Randy kind of in my fourth round range, but man, we still got
2 black belts left. There's only 5 picks left, and there's 2 black in the active rosters, and there's 2 black belts left.
Yeah, so, Kai, I was getting a little warm. I had to take my sweatshirt off. This is the shirt I had on.
Mario's still there. Mario's still there.
Yeah, I think I'm almost positive Applegate's going to go. We know he's going Manning Leverett.
Yeah, I think Sean's pretty predictable. Like, he told us who he wanted on his team. But, you know, so hopefully it's not going to be some weird out of nowhere.
Yeah, but Brian Brown, you got to be super happy seeing Manning go to Sean. I mean, if I was hoping Noah was going to go to Sean. I was really hoping Noah, and I know Sean had kind of had some interest in getting Noah. I was hoping it was going to be Manning and Noah on there. But shoot, he's probably going to get Mario. And I mean, the picks Mario and Manning for Sean.
And that's a killer team.
Killer team.
I mean, just you got the value pick of Mario. The best value pick probably the draft, and then Manning as well to go with his young studs over there. Man, come on.
Yeah.
But then,
yeah, you're beeping in the background. We got an open mat going on as well.
We've got 2 people rolling.
Sean.
3 people are thinking about it over there as well, so we might get another pair soon.
Yeah.
Wrong pick. Okay, the pick is in.
Fourth pick for team toe hold and Sean Applegate, Manning Leverett.
Yep.
Manning's one of my dark horses this season.
Hey, I know a lot about you. I know some of these other guys. I've seen a lot of you out here on the competition field. But maybe you're one of the more low-key competitors that are in the field here. What would you like for the people at home to know about you going into this season?
I train out of 10th Planet Jacksonville, and I'm looking forward to surprising a lot of people.
I think you have the ability to do that too. Are you going to take whatever submissions present themselves to you, or are you going to be looking for more of the points play?
I think it probably depends on the time in the match. Like, I might pass something up very early on in the match, but later on you got to get whatever you can get.
Do you think the 6-minute time is a good time limit for you, or would you like more or less time for that?
Yeah, I like to move a lot. So 6 minutes, I can move a lot without burning myself out.
Right on. Well, congratulations on the 4th round pick, man, and you're on a great team. On the clock again will be right. It's Sean again, right? Yep, Sean again for his 5th pick.
So Manning's saying that the 6 minute is going to be good for him. You know, we've had a lot of competitors say, okay, 6 minutes is not enough time for me to play my game and get the submission that I want. But Manning feels pretty confident. He's okay with 6 minutes.
Yeah. I'm loving Applegate's team, and Applegate, like we said, he's the most predictable, and he's the professional coach. He is the professional jiu-jitsu coach. He's probably done the most research. He kind of knows these guys the most, and the way he thinks about the game is it's very it's inspiring. You know, the guy's a genius, and so I think he's got a game plan, and whether or not that wins him the season, we'll find out over this course of this next week, but we'll see.
Right. And, you know, Sean is very strategic. And so I think that Sean has spent time studying all of these guys, learning where their weaknesses are. And so that strategy that Sean will bring as a coach is going to be super beneficial to his guys because he's going to be able to feed them the information on all these guys' weaknesses. So it's going to be really really awesome.
And I don't think Sean wants black belts. Sean wants guys that are not so set in their ways, you know. Just knowing Manning Leverett, he is a sponge. I mean, every time I've trained with the kid, he's always asking questions. If you catch him with something, he wants to know what you did. He's wanting to roll as many rounds as possible. He's just a perfect student of the game. And I feel the same way about Mario, man. Every time I've trained with Mario a few different times. He's a perfect candidate to join and jump into that Applegate team. So, but hey, guys, this is where I told you, this is the time where people's hearts are doing this because there's 4 picks left, and then there's 4 guys that aren't going to get picked. We got 2 black belts.
2 black belts in the bottom 8. One. Well, no, pardon me. He didn't win the season qualifier. The qualifier. Mario's still there though. That one a qualifier winner is in the bottom 8 picks. That's wild.
Yeah, I just don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean the question is, who got displaced? Who got displaced by Isaac? Who got displaced by by Marcus Elkins? You know, who's now not going to make it? Who's going to be a replacement?
Well,
and if Drew Weather goes Matthew Boyles, who else gets displaced?
I'm pretty sure that the Elkins have talked about taking Carlos Andres.
Yeah, that's their guy.
Yeah, but they also like Eric Longar. I think they like Eric Longar a little bit more, which would be smart because one of your black belts.
I mean, I hear you.
Yeah,
this draft has been
unpredictable.
It's crazy. I mean,
yeah. Now would be the time where you're looking for, like we had talked about, those defensive players.
Because there's guys that are ready to score. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And with their 5th pick, Team Toe Hold selects Mario Gayor.
We still have 2 black.
Congratulations, Mario. How do you feel about falling to the 5th round?
I'm just happy to be on Sean's team, to be honest. I look up to you a lot, man.
So it worked out in your favor maybe then that you fell this low. You landed on a team with some people that maybe you wanted to be on?
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky sometimes.
Nice, man. Hey, that's good. What can we expect from you from this season?
He said it, jiu-jitsu.
Is that all?
I'm just trying to be out here to show what I know. And, like I said before, see what works, see what doesn't work, and grow from it. So,
right on, man. We're excited to have you here. Congratulations on getting selected to Team Toe Hold.
Mario's super humble.
SSG.
Super humble about his skills, but Sean got an amazing pick.
Yeah, is that the pick of the draft, Lindsay?
Maybe, because I think that Mario is going to do some amazing things. He's going to get some amazing points. We've talked about it the entire time. Why hasn't anybody picked Mario yet? Why is he still out there? So yes, Sean got an amazing pick.
See, you were getting ready to say like this is the round where you're looking defensively, and I normally would agree.
Right,
except we got black belts out there. I mean, Evan DeWitt can get
points.
I mean, Evan DeWitt could go out there and get 6. I mean,
Mario was still there. That's the steal of the draft. Sean Applegate, Trapplegate, the evil genius, executing his plan, and just manna from heaven coming down. And he's like, "Thank you, I'll take it."
Yeah, because I think what we were expecting, right, is like you're looking at this last round, like, okay, do I think Isaac's going to get scored on more than Lewis?
That's what we should have been talking about at this point, right?
And Zeb were like, damn,
You're still
okay.
a killer out there.
Yeah.
Wallow asked, "Hey, can you ask, weren't the qualifier winners guaranteed a spot?" Well, I think that was the initial setup, but then they had, but that was before we were going to have possible replacement players, and so that added another element to it. But now it's a moot point because all the qualifier winners have been picked on for the active teams.
Well, Evan DeWitt is the pick of this round. I mean, he is a steal of him, and Mario are the steal of all steals. And
Evan DeWitt is 11, and wow, we're down here.
I mean, I think Evan DeWitt's a very good black belt. Evan DeWitt's a very good black belt.
I really think what hurt him was the lack of footage you can find from a quick search online for a lot of these coaches.
And he didn't have the most impressive night last night, right? He didn't do anything that was like, whoa, like David Evers came out and was just doing push-ups on top of push-ups.
Yeah, he didn't stand out. Right. He didn't stand out. Yeah.
So, Lindsay, who is next? Tell me, who is next?
Well, I would say that it's going to be Evan DeWitt. That would be my pick. Well, I would have picked him a long time ago, but
it's going to be Matthew Boyles.
It's going to be Boyles. Van Askren's son. I'll bet you $1.
$1. But like Carlos. Carlos is going to get some points on the board. Carlos is super aggressive and
Longar
awesome.
will too.
Yes.
Longar will.
Longar, Evan DeWitt and Longar are just steals. I don't think Longar has the offense to
His
make a
passing
run,
looks
but his
amazing.
passing is incredible.
What we saw in season 1, though, is he was undersized. I think that was one of the reasons we saw him have the limited offense. Is he was very much undersized for that season. He's still a little bit undersized for this one, just a little bit, but he's much closer now. And now he's been promoted to black belt. You got again a black belt in the 5th round. That's a steal.
Yeah, because I'm looking at Team Toehold, Sean Applegate's 5th pick, and Mario Gayor, and I just think he's beaten everybody's 3rd round pick. Yeah, he's beating everybody's 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
I think Woolsey gives him a go. I think Woolsey might take it on against Gayor, but
So it's got to be Evan next, right?
It's gonna be Boyles.
It's gonna be Boyles.
Dude, if Kiahi gets picked next,
But this
and
is
SSG with their 5th pick select Sasquatch, Eric Longar.
Oh, okay. Nice.
That's a good pick.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got a black belt in the 5th round.
Thank you, Eric. As one of the black belts, does it give you any extra motivation going into this week being selected in the 5th round?
I'm not really too worried about belts. If you look at every guy in here, it's just not one chump in here. So ready to go, belt or no belt.
Excited to be in here no matter what. All right, I hear you. What's your strategy going into the week? Mostly chokes, breaks, or whatever presents itself?
I'm gonna hunt the choke for sure, but I'm gonna take what I can get. Definitely.
Are you gonna look to get that 1-minute LOG rule in effect for you?
Oh, for sure.
Are you gonna hunt fast? Nice. 4-tier matches, dude. Congratulations. Next up, such and such.
Okay, so there's 2 more spots on the active rosters. If Evan DeWitt does not get picked, I don't know what I'm going to do. But that just leaves up the other question, like, who's the last guy in? Who's the bubble?
Okay, so we're assuming Evan. It's going to be Evan and Carlos.
That's what I say.
And it's going to be Lewis, Matthew, Josh Gibbs, and Kiahi as the guys left out. So I think they're going to take Carlos, and then last pick Evan DeWitt, which, you got 3 black belts. So let's just assume Eli gets he ends up getting DeWitt. I mean, he's got 3 black belts on his team. So Lindsay, like, look at this team, Lindsay. We got Gio Ortiz, Kevin Primo, Matt Harrison, Noah Randolph, and Evan DeWitt. How do you feel about that starting 5?
I feel pretty confident about that. I mean, yeah, they're gonna rack up some points. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that they're gonna beat Sean's team, but I mean, they got some killers on there. So,
and
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess people just don't know about Evan DeWitt. Like you said, not a lot of footage and stuff, but I cannot believe that it.
I mean, I've rolled with a lot of these guys. I've rolled with Evan DeWitt. Like, Evan DeWitt's better than most of the, like, a lot of these dudes. I shouldn't say most, but he's better than a lot of these dudes. Like, in my mind, Evan was middle of the field. You know, he was in that 10th to, like, exactly where you have him. 11. 11's a perfect spot for Evan DeWitt in my mind, in a pre-draft rankings. So,
well, I mean, but like we saw earlier, if they pick up Evan DeWitt because he fell this far, that kind of invalidates or makes up for their reach for the Scarecrow Doom in that 3rd round. So it kind of like fixes that for their team. But it just is a benefit for the Scarecrow because he got a little bit extra money.
Yeah. Carlos is going to go next, though. I mean, he's one of the homies. He's one of the guys.
Evan should make Matt Harrison pay for the gas that it took to get down here.
Of course, Lindsay's talking about that both of them are out of Derby City, Jiu Jitsu's place in Louisville, Kentucky, and carpool down here.
Yeah, and yeah, well, we'll see. But looking at the draft board again, we got Evan DeWitt, Carlos Andres, Lewis Collins, Matthew Boyles, Josh Gibbs, and Kiahi. And I mean, Gibbs and Kiahi are, I think most people bottom 3-4 of the dudes. But
no, we talked about it. We thought, they're showing out yesterday at the combine might have gotten them onto an active roster. As it turns out, not quite enough, most likely. I mean, we've been surprised so far in this draft. Either one of them could easily make one of these teams.
yeah, well, what surprised me was I thought like they had both had way better combines than Isaac, and so way better combines than Isaac. And whether or not who would win those matches, don't know. But I think most people again had Isaac in that bottom, 4 or 5 spot as a potential replacement player. And yeah, I just would be really interested in like Stackhouse at 3.
I think Isaac got the win over Gibbs. I can't remember if it was the Jacksonville or Atlanta. I think it was the Atlanta qualifier.
Yes.
So we do know at least in one instance that Stackhouse, but I don't think he got the sub. I think it was a decision.
I had Stackhouse on my board at 19. I had him at 19, so I did have him getting picked. I just didn't have him getting, or I did have him playing. I just didn't have him, 3rd.
I am 22nd, so.
Womp, 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 super chat from BJ Webb to Carla.
With their 5th pick, team such and such selects Los Amigos Carlos.
Yeah.
How you say that? Andres.
Well, we got 5 guys left.
Sure.
And that's where we expected it.
Hey, congratulations, man.
5th round. That was expected.
How do you feel being selected by team such and such?
It's an honor. I'm gonna go out here and put on the show for all you people. T-Town, Alabama. Tune in.
Right on. You had a very exciting when you came out for the trials earlier on this. Are we gonna see the same kind of style when you come out here for this week?
Yeah, I'm gonna go out there and upset some of these guys. So tune in.
You're just gonna blitz everyone, right?
I mean, I'm gonna push the pace and good pick.
Yeah, this guy hanging off of some people's necks tonight. He's ready to prove his point, man. Congratulations,
Carlos approves.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
On the clock,
Carlos is
Primo's
a great
heroes.
5th round
Primo's
pick.
heroes
Lindsay,
for
how
the
do you feel
last
Carlos
pick
does
in
this
the
season?
5th round.
I think he's gonna, just like he said, I think he's gonna go out there and push the pace and be super exciting. I think that he's gonna surprise some people. I think he's gonna submit some people. Possibly some higher level people.
We need to remember that he actually has a win over Kevin Primo in the consolation round, the third place match at the Decatur qualifier. Now it's a little different because Primo had to make weight the same day for that qualifier. So now we're going to have a rehydrated Kevin Primo. But that's a big feather in his cap and a nice pull for, the Elkins on the 5th round.
Wow. Evan DeWitt as the 5th round pick. I mean, that's just a steal.
I think he is out of ATT Tuscaloosa.
You're correct.
Yeah, crazy gas tank. And that's what I love to see. I don't want to, you only have 6 minutes. I don't want to see anybody backing away. I want to see people pushing the pace and passing, trying to get a good position. So I think Carlos is definitely going to be on top of that.
So Evan DeWitt is possibly Mr. Irrelevant.
I mean,
he's trying to fight Mario for the best, the best sleeper pick of the draft or the best steal. Unless Eli goes wild.
I don't know. So, yeah, I think that would be more of a sleeper pick than the Mario pick, Evan DeWitt.
So Kai asked, just for a quick recap, the 5th round, Sean Applegate, Team Toe Hold, took Mario, drew a supernatural survival gear, got Eric Longar, Team Such and Such, the Elkins brothers, got Carlos Andres, and we are waiting for Eli Knight's pick here for Team Primo's Heroes.
But looking at everybody's team, Sean's team doesn't have any weaknesses, right? Every single one of those guys are very solid grapplers, and there's an argument to be made that he has 5 of the top 12 grapplers, right? I know on your board you had Elijah number 1, but then you had both Kevin's
We're 8 and 9,
and Mario as
7.
So I mean, he's got 4 top 10 guys on your board. Same thing on mine. I've got all 5 of those guys in my top 12. So he's got 5 of the top 12 guys. Where every other team I look, to me, there's Marcus Elkins might not get a win this season. No offense.
Oh,
to Marcus,
it's very possible.
It's possible Marcus doesn't get a win this season, or Isaac. There's a chance Isaac doesn't get a win this season.
And it's interesting that Sean doesn't have any black belts on his team.
Yeah, so I would rank the team. I would go Sean's team 1. I would then go Eli Knight's team 2. Especially, we're assuming he takes Evan DeWitt. He takes Evan DeWitt. He has the second best team, and he has a team that could,
I don't know. I mean, those 3rd, 4th, even 5th round picks, all of those guys could be such a variable in the season. I mean, we know where they should go based on the body of work, but any given night this week, they could have all kinds of upsets.
To me, there are a couple of guys that are huge wild. I mean, I think Noah Randolph's a huge wild card. He doesn't compete a lot. I mean, he's competed only in the PGF. That's literally the only time Noah's ever competed was PGF season 1 and PGF season the qualifier. I mean, and did very well in both of them. But that's it. How's he going to do this season? PGF season.
It's pretty interesting that he's never done a Naga or some new breed or just go out there and just wreck some white belts, blue belts, and so the competition.
And with their 5th pick, Primo's Heroes select Evan DeWitt.
Good pick.
Steal of the draft.
Yeah.
Evan DeWitt is a quality black belt. He is very, very good.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us how you're feeling right now?
Oh, fuck. Get me started. I got picked after the hippie. I got picked after Jones jean jacket here. If I would have got outpicked by the unicyclist, I'd have flipped shit in here. You gotta see. I guarantee you, best fantasy pick this entire season. I'm going to be cheap as hell, and I'm going to be delivering. You will see.
All right, nice.
Hey, I'm not going to add anything to that, man.
Nice.
We're ready to go. We're ready to go.
Good for him, standing up for himself. That's awesome. Yes.
And then back on the clock for their 6th and final pick will be Primo's Heroes.
Well, we have been talking about that issue this whole entire time. That Evan DeWitt should have gone a lot earlier. I'm glad that he was his biggest fan right there, and like, dude, you guys missed out.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, Lindsay, why don't you explain the alternate situation?
Okay, so we've got Kiai, Josh Gibbs, Matthew Boyles, and Lewis Collins left on the board. So these guys are going to be alternates for each one of the teams. So if a competitor gets injured, they are going to step up into that competitor role. Now, I asked Brandon before the whole thing got started, I was like, okay, so are they going to take on the players' points that they are replacing, or are they going to just start their points fresh? And Brandon said they are going to only make their own points, so they are not taking on points of the competitor. Sorry, I'm cutting in and out there. But they are not taking on the points of the competitor that they replaced. They are just making their own points.
Well, to me, it's clear that top two teams, Applegate and Eli Knight's team. Evan DeWitt going at the last pick of round 5. I mean, yeah, I hear you. Everybody in the chat, you guys have been hearing us. I mean, we've been saying that Mario and DeWitt. I mean, I was talking about them in the 3rd round.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Yeah, to me, it's not even close now. We got Applegate's team and Eli Knight's team are by far the top two teams, by far.
So now we can start talking about those defensive players. Finally.
Well, it's funny because we talked about a little bit before with some of these guys dropping, it kind of, ameliorates, the reaches that teams had before. So again, he just got Evan DeWitt with his 5th pick. He was 11th on our board. So that completely takes away all the issues had with any reaches before.
Yeah. And like I said, like I was talking about kind of weaknesses. I don't see any weaknesses on Applegate's team. Like there's just not a guy out. All those guys are going to score points. So I'm just talking about like who has the team that guys are going to score points. We know Elijah's going to put up a lot of points. We know everybody's 1st round pick is going to put up points, but the rest of the team has to put up points. And to me, I look at Applegate's team. All those guys are going to be putting up points.
Mm-hmm.
And then I look at I look at Drew's team. And to me, I mean, yeah, Randy's a beast. He's going to be really tough to tap, but how many subs is Randy going to get this season? If he has 12 matches, does he get more than 3 subs? I don't think so.
I do. I mean, because he almost got that in season 2, and those guys were all his size, and he's almost doubled his grappling, not grappling, pardon me, long grappling experience. But he's almost doubled his jiu-jitsu experience from season 2 to now. I have to think he gets a lot more subs. If nothing else, his athleticism and his size, he wears down people with his pace, and then he gets them at the end when they're tired, and he sinks in that choke.
If he's able to use his weight against those guys, like I said, he's going to be able to put it where he wants to put it with the takedowns. If he's able to use his weight against those guys and just pressure them down and choose a submission, using that top pressure, then yes, I would think more than 3. But has that practice been purposeful?
Season 2 veteran at the bottom. How does that stack out for you today?
I mean, I knew it was probably reality. A little sad. I came here, I want to compete. So I'm just going to be ready in the wings, ready to go, but still excited to learn from everyone here. So
right on, man. I understand that. And there's still a chance, with the alternates, anything can happen. You guys could jump in and get in there and get into the mix, man. So good luck. I hope that we get to see you out there this week, man. We have such and such on the clock.
So this is kind of how I look at Randy. To me, I'm kind of putting the over-under at 3 submissions. But I think there's, again, very few dudes here that can sub him. I think he's a handful. He's a great grappler. I just don't see him as a guy that's going to be scoring points. And so you got Randy. I feel the same way about Eric. I think Eric's going to be really tough for some of these guys to tap, but I just don't see him putting up a lot of points. Isaac Stackhouse, same thing. I don't see him putting up a lot of points. So to me, I mean, Drew's team, to me, they're going to finish last. I just don't see any way that they finish. Yeah, they're going to finish last.
I think now that I look at it, you're probably right. I'm going to rescind my point and go with you because as I'm looking at the teams and I'm picking out players that he's going to be able to submit, I think if he gets that Marcus Elkins match, okay, he's got a Marcus Elkins. You know, if he gets Carlos Andres, okay, Andres, amazing, fast, great wrestler, but guess what? He's just about to go up against a wrestler that's way bigger in season than him, so he's probably going to be able to get him. Now, other than that, yeah, unless he's able to use that weight extremely to his advantage, he's going to struggle to get the subs.
Yeah, and then I look at the Elkins brothers team, same thing. I kind of feel the same way, especially with like Carlos and Marcus. Like, how many points are they going to be able to get during the season? I mean, Carlos is a small guy. He's got some leg locks, but how many subs is he going to be able to get? Marcus Elkins, same thing. And so to me, you know, when you're taking two guys, you know, in your squad that you're throwing out there week in and week out that don't have the potential to score a lot of points, in my mind, it's tough. It's going to be tough to compete as a team.
Well, it's funny because on the opposite side of Randy, you have Carlos, and the question is if he can use his speed to wear people down, just cardio-wise, making them react and get tired from that. I wonder if that he could parlay that into getting a submission, wearing people down that way.
Yeah, because we're just talking about, you know, how do you win fantasy leagues, right? And anybody that's ever played fantasy football, for instance, you know that, yes, your first pick has to perform. But what wins the season is those 4th, 5th, 6th, somebody just really outperforming. And when I'm looking at that, it's like, dude, Evan DeWitt as the 5th pick, Mario Gahor as the 5th pick. I mean, Mario and Evan DeWitt have a chance of scoring in the top 8, and they're getting that at 5th pick. Where a couple of these guys' top 3 picks or 3rd picks, I mean, I don't see them scoring in the top 10.
I mean, but if you look, kind of going back to that whole idea, I think that 4th and 5th pick from Applegate, I think you got it right there. Manning Leverett, Mario Gahor, 4th and 5th pick on that curve on that Serpent draft. Man, that might have been the nail in the coffin for other teams.
So, Egghead, how are you gonna write up your analysis after this?
Well, I mean, what we all are waiting for is the schedule.
Yeah, right.
That's going to make matchups make your draft grades for that day.
So you're not going to say
selects with their 6th pick. Matthew Bad Blood Boyles.
So you're not saving any deets just for yourself?
No, I mean, I really haven't ever. I mean, I've always kind of joked that I gave you like 2 truths and a lie, but come on.
Ready to be on team session, Sex?
100%.
How do you feel about being selected down at the bottom?
Well, I hope no one gets hurt, but I think there's a good chance that might happen, and I'm hoping I get to step in and everybody gets to see me put on a performance.
Yeah, I think you'll bring a lot of good energy out there when you get on the mat, man. So I really do hope we get to see a chance to see you out there, man.
Yeah,
I think he's right. I think that
next up,
there's
supernatural survival gear.
Well, and just like with last season, you know, Matt Elkins got hurt first match, and then continued. He didn't have to. He didn't. But I think there are going to be some injuries.
Well, I guess 2 things here. One, that's a great place for Matthew Boyles to go with Elkins brothers. You know, since he came, with a lot of wrestling background, they should be able to tweak his wrestling and his jiu-jitsu together, and then just good mentors for a young man. I think it's a good place for him. As far as fantasy, what everyone should know, Evan DeWitt got up there and said he's gonna be cheap as can be. No, the price is already there, buddy. You're $18, even though you can win in the 5th round. So you're somewhat of a premium pick still. That kid's already started building all the charts and stuff. I just need the schedule so I can do the blog posts.
Yeah, man, wild day. Wild beginning today. We haven't even got into the matches, and I think that's what's so fun about the draft is, it creates discussion. And yeah, some guys' feelings are hurt. I mean, we saw Evan DeWitt; he was pissed, and I feel him. Like I said, if I was a black belt and I didn't get picked, I also, like just knowing I'm better than a lot of these dudes that are getting picked, and yeah, it would have been. I'm telling you, man. Like you can say, oh well, no, I might have just left. I'm like, dude. I mean, I'm not sitting around so I can be. Some of these guys' replacement picks that I know I can beat. And yeah, I mean, Evan had a great match. He did great in the qualifier. He lost in the finals to a very talented Mario, but it wasn't like Mario dominated. Mario caught him in a counter leg lock, and that match was super even. So, but I mean, Mario got picked in the 5th round as well.
Right.
It's insane. This draft was all over the place, and no one could have anticipated this. But again, that's part of the fun. Is seeing the craziness that ensues.
And you guys see that comment from the commish. If y'all want better mics, we need to see some more money in the super chat. So you guys can just say, make your donation and put or microphones.
Yeah.
and Kai, stop picking on me, man. My head's not that big. It's normal size. It's a perspective issue. I'm a little bit closer to the camera.
That's true.
I mean, I'm not like Jake Elkins over here with like ginormous head.
Well, I chose to be the farthest from the camera, so.
Yeah, we went in order of most beautiful to least.
Wait,
Very fair.
Which way?
Duh. You're number 1. I'm number 2.
Thanks.
Coming in last. Egghead.
Come
on. No,
I'm just glad you're not showing your guns this season. People are like,
I got the long sleeves on.
You got bigger guns than that guy.
I might have been that commenter.
You were definitely one of them. There was multiple. But yeah, so
Drew,
we got 2 picks left. Picks in, and then we're going to know the final teams, and then we'll really discuss. Maybe we'll talk to a couple of these coaches.
with their 6th pick, Team SSG selects the underdog, Lewis Collins.
Okay.
How you doing? How you doing, sir? So, looking at the draft board, did you see yourself going down to the 6th round?
I didn't. I kind of thought that I would make the cut, but I'm looking forward to it anyway. I'm sure I'll get some answers.
Yeah, there's still a chance that you can come in there and jump in. Looking at the way the teams have stacked out, yeah, man, I really think we can get you out there. Is there somebody you want to shout at home or anything like that?
Shout out to 10 Planet Shoals. Like, they're a great group of guys, and I wouldn't be here without them.
All right, Lewis, man, we're glad to have you in here this season, man. All right, and so then that leaves, as the 6th pick, the only person left, Kiahi. Listen, man, I want to just let you have this thing and tell the people what you think.
I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
There you go.
I'm a big fan of Sean's, like a really big fan. I'm kind of sad I got to be on the same team as my coach, but man, y'all fuck. This seems a problem.
So you think that the team that you're on is going to take first place? No doubt?
No doubt.
All right, here we go. All right, we're going to kick it over here to the desk. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. That is the end of the live portion of the draft. Go into the desk.
Yeah, so there we go, man. And I think, yeah, we were debating yesterday whether he did enough during the combine, and he didn't, you know.
But he did get his coach that he wanted. I remember you guys had him on, you and Wallow had him on, and he said that he really wanted to go on Sean's team. So I know he's super happy about that.
So we're joined here by coach, one of the coaches of team such and such, Matt Elkins. Matt, we got to talk about this draft. It was crazy all around. How pleased are you? Like, did anything go awry?
I was hoping to mostly pick up guys that I'd like trained with and shared the mat with. The only person that I didn't wind up getting that I'd originally hoped for was Kevin Primo. I was hoping to take him for my 2nd pick, but we picked up Dane Leake. I think that's obviously a good trade out. If you can't pick up Kev, we'll take my man Dane and go to work, man. Really excited. I feel like we got some guys that are they're going to go out there and get after it in the 6 minutes. I don't, you know, some of the I think that everybody's going to push the action, and yeah, I got some guys that are going to be hunting for chokes and stuff. I'm super pleased with our draft for sure.
Yeah, getting Dane Leake 2nd, I think that was surprising because a lot of people feel like Dane's the dark horse to win this whole thing. A lot of people have him as the number 2 guy, and you guys got 2 black belts with your first 2 picks. But I got to ask about this Tyler Woolsey pick. How much do you know about Tyler? Like, what made you guys pick Tyler Woolsey in as a 3rd round pick?
So I noticed, I think he won the Louisville or Jacksonville, Fort Myers. Okay, yeah. I saw that my man won one of the qualifiers, and I just had watched a couple of his matches and just liked the way that he moved and liked the way that he pushed the action, and had beat some really high level dudes to secure his spot on the show. And yeah, just had heard a couple of people, bouncing ideas off of other people around, and heard some confirmation from a couple people that know the score. And yeah, man, really excited to see what my man's gonna bring to the game.
Well, I guess some of the questions is Carlos. I know you're very high on Carlos. How much experience do you have with him?
So Carlos comes through and trains with us a little bit. He's a guy that I help with MMA and whatnot a little bit. And yeah, man, he wasn't gonna do the qualifier originally, and I was like, man, the PGF is awesome. It's gonna do so much for your jiu-jitsu game. It's going to do so much for like exposure and stuff like that, get you some fans. And I talked him into it, and he went and ran it at the qualifier and had a blast. And, he got to show off his speed and intensity and stuff like that. And so, yeah, there's just no way that I wasn't going with my man Carlitos. Had to go down.
So did you have a mandate from Mama Elkins that you had to pick your brother?
I mean, listen, I think that it, once again, we also talked him into it. You know what I'm saying? So he's, dude, I just can't not watch him go out there and do it. I love watching my little brother go out there and just, spoil it for a couple people, man. See if he buggy chokes somebody from side control. I don't know. He's just goofy, man. I'm really excited about it. He has a very unorthodox style, and just he feels like, a little ball of flubber or something. He just doesn't move like a regular person moves. He doesn't scramble and like a normal wrestler would and stuff like that. So he's a real problem, man. If you haven't grappled with somebody like that, get a live look at these fools trying to solve that Rubik's Cube on the day one. We'll see what it looks like though, man. I'm excited about everybody on the squad.
Was there a joint discussion, and was there pretty much agreement on all the draft picks? Did you guys feel pretty confident?
I mean, once we figured out what the order of the draft was going to be, we for the most part knew who we were looking to get. The Elbow Genie has been a huge supporter of what we're doing at Ironclad and stuff like that. Comes and trains and hangs as one of our closest friends in the jiu-jitsu community. So we were definitely going with him. And then, like I said, a couple of the other guys, Carlos, Marcus, Kevin, Primo, one that we would hope to have gotten on the team just because the thing is we're gonna have a good time about it, man. I don't know if you guys didn't watch season 1 and season 2. We're 100%. We're about that action. Yeah, we're trying to have a good time, and like I said, man, definitely trying to win, trying to stay competitive, and just enjoy the week. And I feel like we got the right squad to do that for sure.
I know in talking to Sean, that was kind of thing. Like it was like there's a balance in wanting your guys, and then also like who is skilled, like on the in the draft. So I feel really good. We were both pumped about like it's our guys and the quality of their skill and how that's going to stack up. I really feel like the teams are pretty well matched. I'm really excited to see how it shakes out.
Yeah, I think the most interesting part was the black belts falling. You had Evan DeWitt, who I've trained with. Evan's really good. Falling into the last pick of the 5th round. There's definitely belts were not considered, right? Like I don't think anybody really cared that much about the belt.
I think part of it was like familiarity. Like I think that sure. I know on I felt like familiarity with some of the guys was definitely a problem, but I mean it's like, hey, we knew who those guys were and knew they're good, but it's like, hey, I got to have my brother, right? Like, and so that was we talked about that.
I don't know a ton about Evan, and I saw that he was in the black belt and late in it, but it's like this: are you going to roll the dice on somebody that's a black belt that you're unfamiliar with, or in our case, like grabbed a couple blue belts and purple belts that we know are just about that action and are going to be fun to watch and are going to really, really go out there and get it. I'm sure, especially after my man's speech, I think he's going to go out there and put it on the line. But just like I said, just didn't know enough about some of these cats to just come out and grab them like in the earlier rounds. And yeah, like I said, gotta stay true to the Ironclad fam. He's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Well, we're going to be talking to you guys a lot more this week. was a super fun draft. I mean, this is definitely the way to do jiu-jitsu shows from here on out.
It was
But,
awesome.
Yeah, man.
It was awesome.
How can guys follow you? How can people follow you? And yeah.
You can find myself at TB Elkins on any social media platform, from Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. Don't Snapchat me. Don't Snapchat me. Yeah, you're not gonna catch a boy on Snapchat. Sorry. And then of course my man over here, you can find him at Ironclad Wrestling. Of course on the Facebook.
Yep, Ironclad Wrestling on everything, or personally, I think Papa Bear Elkins on Instagram, but at Ironclad Wrestling on literally everything.
And if you already know the score and you're just trying to figure out those like slide by details and trying to get your wrestling right, you can just check out ironcladmethods.com. Just going ahead and get in the game now.
Shameless plug, go get it right now.
Right now, seriously. Well, thank you guys for being a part of this season, and we'll be talking to you a lot more.
Cheers, you guys.
Absolutely. So Matt Elkins has been teaching here. He taught all the month of December our noon classes, and he's teaching in January as well. And personally, working on my wrestling has been so much fun. And Brandon has said that it's improved my jiu-jitsu game as well. So I've really enjoyed those guys being around the gym.
You got to think that everyone that got selected by them just knows I have a chance to level up my wrestling. Even in these handful of days, they give me those few details that's going to take me to the next level.
Yeah, just those tiny tips that you wouldn't have thought of. You've been working on something for like 3 years and somebody goes, no, just do this instead. And you're like, oh, I can't believe it. I haven't been doing that this time. So yes, they've got some amazing details.
Yeah, let's hey Sean. Yeah, so we're gonna bring on Sean Applegate right here, who I mean consensus, we all three think that your team is just stacked.
Yeah.
So talk about the draft and how it ended up playing out for you.
So originally, I think what I was told is the draft was going to be a 1 through 4, 1 through 4, 1 through 4, which is cool. So when we did the Connect 4, I was like, well, I need to win to make sure I get the first pick, because that's super important in that format. And there's about 8 or 9 guys in here that are at a certain skill level. And then after that 8 or 9 guys, the gap is massive. So I was like, it's really important to get as many picks as you can in that top 8 or 9, And then the draft switched, which is cool. Like whatever, just a different format. And either way, my first 3 picks are going to be the same. You know what I mean? And I got my guys. So I just wanted to get my guys. And then after my guys, I feel like some of the other coaches didn't look into the middle of the field too well. And so I kind of noticed that Mario and Manning were still sitting on. Actually, Tyler Woolsey was still sitting on the mat too at the beginning of that round. And I was like, I'm getting Tyler Woolsey and Manning Lever in the next pick. These guys are absolute animals. And these guys are just not, you know what I mean? And Tyler got picked. So I was like, all right, cool. And then I noticed that Mario was still sitting there. And I was like, wait. Okay, you know what I mean? But I'll be honest with you, man, the draft actually played out really weird from where I was sitting, because just noticing how many black belts and brown belts were still in the 3rd and 4th rounds, even the 5th and 6th rounds, 5th round anyway.
I think first we have to ask you, how many games of Connect 4 have you played in the last week to prepare?
Well, so not as many as you would think. I didn't really do a lot. But Connect 4 is a really simple game. All the pieces are the same. It's just math. And so I just took a board to my gym and was like, all right, everyone play me one time. And if you guys can beat me, then I'll look deeper into this. And then I did. And I was won. So I was like, all right. it's basic. It's super basic math. So I was like, I think I'm going to be all right. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. You ended up crushing it. And it was funny. I think we all knew, right? You were going to pick your guys, whatever the format was, whether it was the snake draft, which ended up being, or the previous format. But seeing you, I knew you were looking for coachable guys. You'd already mentioned Manning Lever. And then when I saw Mario there, I was like, this is just a dream scenario for you, getting those 2 guys back to back. And now your starting 5 doesn't have any holes. All those guys are going to get points, because when I look at the other teams, they all have a guy or 2 that I'm like, is that guy going to score this? I don't know if that guy's going to even win a match, but all your guys are going to score.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking. When we got to the 16 and 17, I was like, man, I can't believe Mario and Manning are still sitting right here, man. Those guys. But I think it just comes down to, like I said, I think some of the other guys just didn't really look into the middle of the field too much, And I think that this game is not about getting those guys that are gonna win the majority of their matches, right? Because you can't. There's only 8 of them, so we're all gonna end up with maybe 2 at most, right? It's about consistency throughout. Like your top 5 has to be consistent. So it's how you play the middle. So if guys were only focused on the top 8 guys, that's the only guys they watch video on, the only guys they researched. Well, that's great, but that's the short game, and this tournament isn't based on the short game. It's based on the long game. It's team points, right? So my goal is not to have like the guy that gets the most points. My goal is to have the team that gets the most points. So consistency was our focus.
Now, looking at all the rosters now, which team do you think might give you trouble and might keep you away from that $500 worth of Bitcoin?
You know what's going to sound crazy? Maybe not to you guys. Maybe you guys already have this opinion, but just sitting at the table, I think this was not the general opinion. I think it's actually Eli's team. Like the such and such team is good. Like they're consistent. They have some good guys. But Eli's team, like he kind of got the guys that people weren't paying attention to. And like as I was watching, I was like, oh, that's a good choice. Oh, that's a good choice. Okay.
Oh man, I said right after it happened, I was like, to me, this season's about Team Toehold, Sean Applegate, and Eli's team. I mean, Eli getting 3 black belts, and his last pick being a very quality black belt in Evan DeWitt. I mean, I've rolled with Evan. He's a tough guy. He, man, I mean, to tap Evan, you got to break something. Like he's willing to let things break, and so your breaking mechanics better be on point. And he's a high-paced grappler. But I'm really interested in tonight's matchup. All right. So we got Elijah Carlton going against Jonathan Roberts tonight. How are you going to prepare Elijah? And these guys have already fought one time, and Elijah won pretty handedly, but getting your guy ready to face another team's #1 pick, what's that going to look like?
Just Elijah and Jonathan Roberts. So like in matches like this, like Jonathan's great. He's a good guy, you know what I mean? Good grappler, and I'm sure he's on his game or whatever. But with Elijah, I'm not too worried. You know what I mean? His match with Jonathan, I think he's going to be fine. Elijah's been competing pretty consistently recently. He's very tough. He's obviously very good, and I don't know that Jonathan has closed that skill gap between Elijah. I think it would have been a lot more tough if he had drawn Caleb in the first round. You know what I mean? Gio's tough as well, but I think Caleb is the guy that he's got to like really put his game face on for this season.
What specifically, like cardio?
No, just moving in a way that's not going to allow Caleb to use his athleticism effectively. So like for instance, in the match in the finale, the previous season that they fought, Elijah was able to take his back pretty easily off of a rolling Kimura attempt, but Caleb's grip strength is pretty insane. So like taking his back isn't really the most efficient route to finishing him, because when he grabs your hands, you're just locked down and you're stuck there, you know? And then EBI rules are in this 6-minute match where it's going to be 6 to 10 minutes. You can't afford to have a guy just holding on to you right there, right? And then also thinking about the finale, he's going to go to overtime with him. He's going to be holding on to him. It's much more efficient to attack his legs where you can keep his hands completely away from you, and his grip strength factor literally doesn't play a factor at all in the match. So it's more matches like that we'll have to sit down and have conversations about. But I'm pretty confident in his match with Jonathan. I don't really think we'll have to change much about what he's doing.
I'm really interested because everybody's talking about Dane Leake. A lot of people have said Dane Leake's a front runner to finish in the top 3 this season, potentially even #1. What about Dane Leake's game has impressed you looking at it?
So Dane Leake is durable. That's his thing. I think all of his like impressive stuff that he's done comes down to durability. Like the accomplishments that people bring up, they're like, oh, he won the qualifier. One of my purple belts fought him in the qualifier, passed him, attacked him, and this dude was literally having a panic attack. He puked 3 times before the match and had 2 hard matches before he fought him, and he passed him easily and almost submitted him a couple times. But he survived, and that was his thing. He survived Keith at the ADCC trials, but he did just that. He survived Keith. He didn't like do anything to beat Keith. You know what I mean? Obviously, Keith won, so it's like it is what it is. I think that with my guys specifically, my actual students, their breaking mechanics or finishing ability is high enough to close that gap. So with him, I don't worry too much unless I have to put one of the guys that don't train with us regularly against him. And then I'm like, okay, well.
So outside of Elijah, you're thinking Gio and Caleb are going to be the 2 other like top point getters, because that's what we all consensusly have thought is that I've got Gio #2, Caleb #3. And you can switch that in any order. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm thinking that Gio is a better finisher than Caleb. Caleb's got more cardio and endurance. In 6 minutes, I don't think that's going to matter that much. You know what I mean? Like, I think that all those guys between the top 4 guys, they're all seasoned enough that none of them are going to wear themselves out in 6 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I would hope not anyway. Gio and Caleb are easily right behind. I think the top 4 plays out exactly like that. I think what you have right now is 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3 in the first round. You know what I mean?
Okay, so I just got a notification that AG Gregoff, the owner of Toehold, is sweetening the pot a little bit. So if you finish with a Toehold finish, then Brian Callen is going to call them personally and give them a congratulations, as well as a custom pair of flip-flops, even the Louis Vuitton flip-flops.
Listen, if you guys keep talking about giving these guys an unlimited number of flip-flops, they are just like, I feel like one of these guys is coming out here with the Louis, the Gucci's, the crocodiles. You know what I'm saying? Like,
now you're going to have Kevin Cheryl's going to be out of control. He's
Kevin
going to have
Cheryl is a
elephant
shoe
leather,
addict, brother.
ostrich leather. He's going to have every single leather that's
purple ones.
Yeah. It's incentive for him, winning it, exposure, money, whatever. He's here for total flip-flops.
So, AG, you better get that address down. You're going to be sending some Toehold flip-flops to Atlanta, bro.
That is safe to say.
Well, Sean, where can people follow you? And
so easiest way, Instagram, Triblegate 10P, YouTube, 10P ATL. Those are the 2 best channels for jiu-jitsu. If you guys follow me on that, that's all the jiu-jitsu content. You guys can keep up with what we got going on, and I'll be posting throughout the week.
Yeah, so guys, definitely follow Sean Applegate, one of the best coaches in the country right now. Killing it. Sean, thank you for joining us. We'll be talking to you a bunch throughout this week.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Sean. So Alex Buring is asking where the bracket is going to be located. So all the information for the week is going to be on pgfhome.com. So yeah, Kai, thank you for putting that in there right there. All right.
Man, just listening to Applegate talk, isn't it just like, it's incredible.
Was right. Like, nobody's paying attention to those middle guys.
He's the next Danaher. So I swear. I mean, he without the English accent or whatever the accent it is. I mean,
he uses some Japanese.
I mean,
he needs a Japanese accent. Is what you're saying?
No. But I mean, he's like I said, jokingly call him the evil genius. He made a plan. He executed it expertly, and then he took advantage of other coaches and let people drop. He's got to be the consensus number one for winning this
thing.
thing.
It's funny, he saw the draft the same way we did, in that, some people could say this or that, but he feels Eli Knight's team's the second strongest, and I feel the same way, because I feel like Eli Knight's team, all 5 of those guys can score, and all of Applegate's guys can score. It's really going to come down to, who scores more points. Is Manning Leverett going to score more points than Matt Harrison? Is Kevin Buring going to score more points than Noah Randolph? I don't know, but we are joined by Drew Weatherhead, who I think had the most interesting draft. There were definitely some picks in there that people were going crazy in the chat. They were just like, what is he doing? So we got to talk about your strategy here. I think the biggest 2 picks were the biggest one, I think, Isaac Stackhouse at 3. So what were you thinking going into that Isaac Stackhouse pick at 3?
Yeah, if you didn't know my strategy going into it and you thought it was crazy, part of that was my strategy. And once you hear it, it's going to make a whole lot of sense. I was picking my entire team, and you look at it when you know this, and it makes perfect sense, by chaos energy. I think that everybody on my team has a significant powerhouse of X factor involved in them. None of them are going to be boring. All of them are going to be unpredictable. And I think that is a serious advantage going 12 to 15 fights deep this week.
Yeah, no, the chaos factor is real, and just your draft was about chaos. And you pick the guy who Leonidas, who you're calling, and then David Evers, your first 2 picks, and those guys right there, I mean, they were the 2 most impressive guys at the combine. You just look at those guys and you're just like, whoa,
yeah,
they're jacked.
Well, speaking about chaos energy, literally my first pick came out, grabbed the mic, and chose violence immediately. He put a fight offer out to everybody on the mat. Like, I knew I picked the right guy when that happened.
You were like, oh yeah, let's go. What were you thinking when he came out with that CJJ? Like, because man, I've seen him do CJJ before. He is an incredible MMA athlete. I mean, that was you had to just been like, dude, I'm a genius.
I was a little bit nervous with his lead up because it could have gone in many different directions. I was like, okay, I just hope he's not leading towards doing like a full nude match or something, because I don't know where he's leading here. Is he going to get down on one knee? What am I witnessing? And then he said CJJ. I'm like, oh, thank God. Okay.
Me and my coach are going to get naked every match.
I mean, he really leaned into that Leonidas thing. Like, we're not going full Greek here.
So, obviously, then the 4th round pick of yours, Randy Rhoden, which we were a little bit concerned about. Obviously, we all saw him have a very hard weight cut, and it seemed like a lot of the coaches talking to them weren't very high on him. We're a little concerned about him being a blue belt, possibly having issues with getting the submissions. What made you pick him in the 4th round?
Have you ever been tired against a wrestler?
Yes.
He's
It
going
sucks.
to break people's wills. He looks 170 right now, but he's going to be at least a weight class or 2 above people for half of this week. And you get 2 or 3 minutes into being taken down and scrambling up and taken down and scrambling up. And I just want to break some spirits out there with him. I feel like I've got a good possibility of him stacking up some money with most exciting match if we can just end it with a submission. We tire somebody out till they make a stupid mistake or they just give something up because they can't move anymore. It's coming. He showed up in the last what was it, season 1, season 2?
Season 2.
Season 2. Yeah, I remember the highlights, just like lifting guys over his head. Dude, people are in trouble. If they're sleeping on him, they might be sleeping underneath him.
I think Brennan said he's already weighing 190.
Yeah,
today,
and he's still hydrating up, getting that liquid death in him.
Yeah, he's going to be 190. Him and Kevin Primo are definitely the 2 biggest guys. But I mean, I think Randy at the 4th round pick was great. You had Isaac at 3, David Evers at 2 is a huge dark horse. What made you choose the meat sickle?
I was debating having him first pick. Besides the fact that he showed out really well for the combine, which, let's be honest, has almost nothing to do with jiu-jitsu, the dude has no neck. Have you ever tried to choke someone with no neck? By the way, have you seen his arms? Try to bend one of those against his will. It's not likely. So he's got that Sean Shirk build that is, from my experience rolling with guys like that, be it no-gi, gi, MMA, it doesn't matter. They're just impossible to control. So you put some submissions behind him, same thing as Randy. Like, he's going to tire people out. They're going to get frustrated trying to go for stuff. He's going to get out of stuff he shouldn't. And I just see that he's going to be a very hard one to submit.
You got the battle of the quads on your team.
The quad squad.
The quad squad.
Yeah, no, I mean, if it comes down to, if we just scrap this thing and turn it into a workout, like, hey guys, we're gonna just do the combine again. Your team won. I mean, you got Caleb, and Randy, and David Evers, dude. I mean, hands down. Are you worried at all about some of, especially, you got, let me see, you got Lewis Collins down there. I think probably your best pick though might have been Eric Longar, getting a black belt as your
late pick, dude.
5th pick.
Yeah.
Insane.
I was kind of partly I was kind of shocked that there was a black belt left, but partly it was my fault because this is no-gi and I don't know who anybody's rank is. Like, even in the combine, I'm like, okay, they can shuttle, they can throw a shot put. I have no idea if that's a white belt or a black belt out there. But I was shocked to see that he was further down. Like I said, I was picking for chaos energy for the first while, and I feel like we really stuck to that. The plan is coming together.
Yeah, I feel like Lewis has some chaos energy as well.
Yeah.
That shuttle run, that was some chaos energy.
But he's also just tough. We saw, season 1 competitor, really gutted it out against a lot of guys, showed some ability to get some submissions as well, both in the qualifiers and season 1. He's a great option to as a replacement, as a backup.
Well, look at that whole list. You see anybody who's not tough on there? All of them are going to be grinders. We're going to grind some people down.
Well, you've got some of the most exciting guys, and I could see Caleb McAllister, another guy, walking away with most exciting. I mean, he's got the most exciting match in PGF history against Jonathan Roberts, and I could see him walking away with 3 of the 4 most exciting match, winning that 250 bonus.
I know a lot of these leg lockers out there are gunning for toe holds specifically this week, so don't be surprised. A lot of sandals being won.
So David Evers has said he's going to take everyone's legs home. Now, granted, that'd be awesome. And if he does within the first minute, that gets you 4 points every time. But you as a coach, if you want to win, Are you gonna be talking to him about, hey, let's try to get a few chokes in there first?
Yeah, take their legs.
Chaos.
Take their legs. Get it over with. You know what? In my experience, real good leg lockers, they save a lot of energy and a lot of injuries from just getting it done fast. You look at like the Eddie Wolverines and out there, you like get it done in 10 seconds, let them all do their work, and then come in there and get it done in 10 seconds again. Why not?
Well, Drew, where can people follow you? And what's your IG handle and what else you got going on?
Yeah. Hit me up on Instagram. Hang out there most often at because_jitsu for the memes, at drew.weatherhead for the personal stuff. And I don't know, hit me up on my Discord. That's in my bio link as well. We got a bunch of people in there that are, I don't know, talking about everything. We got everything from crypto and NFTs to fight talk. And, that's where my community is. Check me out.
Check them out, guys. Drew, pleasure to have you this week, and we're going to be talking to you a bunch more.
After learning about his strategy,
chaos,
you see it through his picks. It makes sense. I mean, he says chaos energy, but in the end, he said toughness. Look at all those guys and how tough they are. That's fair.
We got Eli Knight joining us. Eli, the crew here, we gave you the second best team so far. We think you and Sean Applegate have the clear top two teams. Both teams don't really have any weaknesses. Every guy can score. Let's talk about your decision, though, going Gio, Kevin back-to-back as the fourth and fifth pick. What were you thinking when those guys came to you and picking Gio and Kevin as your first and second pick?
Well, I definitely wanted I knew not getting the first pick, I wasn't going to get Elijah. So Gio was my second choice. I had to get Kevin Primo. It's his team. I mean, what would that look like if I didn't get him? But all that aside, though, he's a solid choice, and so he was honestly going to be my choice in the top probably four anyway. So whenever I got on that team name, I was like, that boosted a little bit. But I feel really solid about it because I feel like I've got one of the top guys. I've got great people all around. I think everybody on the team is solid. I think I've got two sleepers. I think I've got the biggest sleeper here, honestly, and that's what I'm really excited about. Then I've, for what alternates, if they're needed, I've got, I think, probably the most solid alternate that could be out there. So I'm happy. I'm really happy with that team. Whenever I saw, this is why I decided to throw the Connect 4 game. This was all part of the strategy because I figure, it was obvious I lost on purpose to Sean,
right?
Because I was like, he's going to get Elijah anyway, so this game doesn't matter. So then I was like, strategizing it out, and I'm like, I'm going to throw the second game too, but I want to make it look close. So that was my decision process. Yeah, I'm deep on the strategy front.
That makes perfect sense because honestly, if I didn't have first pick, I'd want to be where you were. And I had Gio as my number two guy. I think Gio's going to I got Elijah number one, so I think he's going to win the season, but I got Gio number two and then Caleb three. And so you getting Gio as your first pick, followed up by Kevin Primo, who's the second biggest guy here. I mean, he's going to be 194. He's already 190. He's going to be 195.
When I heard like him and Randy both got up to Randy's probably going to be over 200 by the time things start, but you're getting those guys that size on top of that, and they don't move like big guys, so it's I think it's going to be exciting to see.
Definitely, Kevin does not move like a big guy.
No, not at all. And again, falling Evan DeWitt. Falling to your last pick of like the guys that you're going to throw out game in and game out. Yeah. I mean, we had him in our middle. Like he had him ranked 11th, and I thought 11th was a really good pick. I mean, you got a top 12 guy.
I was shocked that I got him. Like, I feel legitimately bad I got him so late, but it was like the decision making, and probably everybody ran into this. It was like, man, he's right there, and I'm going to go with this guy in hopes that I'll get him. But yeah, I'm stoked that I got him at that level. Like, that was crazy.
Was it a lack of footage? I couldn't find much of competition footage of him, and I think that might have affected all you all.
I think that's absolutely a big thing. I was talking to him just a second before I sat down, and that's what it was. Like between him, not being very long at the gym he's currently with, and then the time, the time that he had to take off during the COVID shutdown and everything, and the work or whatever. But I mean, I think that he comes from a solid background. He's solid on all fronts, and he's at a great place now. I think he's happy where he's at, and I think he's gonna. It's gonna be an upset maybe to some people, but I think he's solid.
No, how do you think Noah Randolph's gonna do this season for you?
Man, like just talking to the people who know about him, like the kid sounds like a murderer. I mean, like he just sat there with like 1,000-yard stare the whole time, and I'm like, okay, there's something going on with this little psycho, and so like I think that he's going to come out there, but I think I really hope that that's what we see from him. That'll make it really interesting when he gets out there with them, jumps on a black belt or something, and it'll be cool to see. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Noah's a kind of a hidden gem, but the thing that's nice about Noah is, he's already done this. He did season 1 as a 16-year-old blue belt and had a great season, and now he's 2 years later, he's 18 years old and he's a purple belt. I mean, yeah, he's definitely one of the guys to watch out for. At a phenomenal qualifier. Your team stacked it. It's a really good team.
That's the thing too. I mean, and when you always got to think about what 2 years to somebody like that means versus somebody who's been training for 15 years. That's a whole different thing. And, he's a sponge at that level. So I think he's probably jumped up so many different levels since then. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, Eli, pleasure having you join us this week. Do you have anything else you want to say, or where can people follow you?
No, I mean, Night Jiu Jitsu all over social media stuff, especially YouTube and, the places that actually pay me for being followed. So that's cool. Like Patreon. But aside from that, I'm just excited to be here. I think it's going to be really cool. Everything going on this week, and not only the matches at night, the matches are of course going to be just like explosive and exciting. And I'm really proud to be part of an event like this, and honored to be asked to be a coach. But I think it's going to be just like a good vibe all week, and see the interactions of people, and I hope to learn a lot too. I hope to train with some people and pick a lot of stuff up and pick people's brains. So,
well, honor having you, and we'll talk to you a bunch more. Eli Knight, guys. Thank you, Eli.
Thank you.
And the matches will start at 6 p.m. Central, so not Pacific Standard Time, so Central, 6 p.m. Central. But we will start a pre-show at 5. So if you want to tune in early for a pre-show, that's at 5 p.m. Central.
Yeah, got 30 matches going on tonight. Each competitor is going to have 3. We already know that at least we have one banger. I mean, there's going to be a bunch, but we got Jonathan Roberts versus Elijah Carlton going down tonight. You guys do not want to miss that. I'll be interested to see, has Jonathan been able to, get closer to Elijah's in skill? Like, is he going to be able to get closer to him, or is Elijah going to be able to kind of, dictate what goes on? Is he going to submit him? But there's so many other matches. I can't wait.
Can Jonathan pass the guard? That's the question. I mean, and I guess almost like a spoiler would be, does he get hit by the same triangle? Because we saw it, when Jake Elkins got hit by that same triangle set up with his brother did. He had of like, okay, watch out for this, watch out for this, watch out for this. So you saw on his face, oh, it got me.
You could definitely tell he was not happy to be there, and he knew that arm was not going back where he wanted it to go, that it had gotten trapped. So yeah, I mean, can you train for Elijah's setups without having Elijah there?
I mean, there's definitely fundamental things you have to think about. He's just so slick and quick. So the moment, your elbow comes back or you reach back with that arm, you're in trouble. And all of these guys are very aware that, of all the competitors, there's a million matches of Elijah Carlton out there. And if you haven't done your homework, that's on you. But he does have, he is always growing. He's got one of the best coaches in the game in Sean Applegate, and he's going to be a force to be reckoned with this season.
I think anyone that's trying to beat him has done a few thousand rolling Kimuras.
Hey, dude. Amen. And we saw, Applegate just mentioned it. That's what Caleb tried in the finale. He tried the rolling Kimura, almost got his back taken, but his grip was so strong. And I that seems to be the strategy, at least in PGF. We've seen other guys beat, and I mean, Caleb got a win over Elijah, but there's only a handful of them. And what would make this season awesome is, maybe some blue belt, maybe Noah Randolph just does some diving ninja choke and chokes out Elijah, but we'll see.
I guess looking back though, how awesome was this whole experience? I mean, I think the coaches had a lot of fun. The players, all the fans. I mean, this. I think it came up and fulfilled all expectations and even surpassed. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, we haven't even started matches yet. So.
Yeah, the draft was special. The draft was a lot of fun. I mean, my heart rate was getting up because it's just like, whoa, like.
I know, I had to take my sweatshirt
I
off.
know. I'm like, dang, I'm like sweating. I feel like I've trained already. I'm analyzing all these picks, and I'm like, what is this coach thinking? What is that coach? Oh my gosh, this coach just got a steal. And it would have been fun, man. Being a coach, to me, might be the most fun thing this season because you got a great group of guys, and you get to lead, these young men into battle. But more importantly, you got to do this draft, and there is a little bit of, importance and significance in what goes down. You have a chance to win $500. You got a chance to make some connections and really get your brand out there. But all these guys have great brands, and man, this season's going to be crazy.
All right, I think we can cut it off. We'll see.
I thought we were talking till 6.
No, I don't think so. I need a rest. But make sure that you guys tune back in. Pre-show will start at 5 p.m. Central, and then the matches will start at 6 p.m. Central. So join us again tonight.
You got about a 3.5 hour break.
Right.
Back at it.
Back at it. See you guys tonight.
See you. Bye.